No black cats, just straight facts.
Triple P certified.
Listen, we can talk about odds all day. It doesn't matter what the odds are. It matters what's gonna happen.
Welcome once again to the Perfect Parlay Pursuit. It is I, your host, one of three. I am Lukey CK. I'm joined by my brother from another mother, Danny, Lieutenant Dan, Danny the Bet Man. Down below is my actual brother, Alex, the Euro Wonder King. Boys, we're coming off the heels of UFC Singapore. And I don't know which way's up. I was telling the boys before the show, I whacked my head this morning, picking up my daughter's toys off the floor. Came up, boom, whacked my head. I have dry blood in my hair now. I haven't even showered. That early morning card did us well, boys. I hit a major lick, won a lot of money. We're going to talk all about it, how I made it happen. I'm going to show you guys everything that I posted in my open bets sheet. I'm going to show you guys the parlays that we were able to cash on and the open bet alert that I made to the Patreon where I said, guys, we are cashing out before the last leg of this particular parlay. It was a parlay that was all but finished. It was 4 out of 5 legs complete, and Ryan Spann being the 5th leg. We cashed out for a pretty penny and avoided the split decision catastrophe that was Ryan Spann versus Anthony Smith. If you're a longtime fan of the show, you know the history with Anthony Smith. So there's a lot to discuss from UFC Singapore. And then we're going to get into UFC 293. UFC 293, Israel Adesanya versus Sugar Sean Strickland. And we're going to see a big-time middleweight fight. Is it 2FC 2U93? Is that what it is?
Correct.
Okay. UFC 293 from New Zealand, from the Oceanic region. We are going to, enjoy a title fight, and we're going to break down that card early for you guys as usual. If you're looking for the UFC Paris Gane versus Spivak breakdown, that's already waiting for you. Me and Alex took you through the whole card, top to bottom, main card and prelims on last week's show with a very special guest, Eric Anders. Danny was absent. He's going to get into why. Feels like Danny's been gone a lot lately. So you're only going to get Dan's UFC Paris picks if you join the Patreon, because that's where we go through the card a second time. The Patreon is where Dan will give his UFC Paris picks. If you're watching the show, the way we do it here is we go full card, top to bottom, main card and prelims 2 weeks early, so everybody can get ahead of the lines. And then we come back the week of the event and do a final fine-tooth comb run through of the full card, just in case any fights have changed, dropped off. That's the access you got to pay for. That's how you get exactly what our final thoughts are, exactly what our final picks are, and even up to the minute. If there's any changes, even after the weigh-ins, you can see in our open bets sheets, our Google sheet that you can click on and have access to. We'll update that up to the minute, even during the fights live, to let you know how we're thinking, what we're thinking. And if you were in there last weekend, I told you to cash out. So plenty of alerts, plenty of DMs, plenty of direct access to us in that Patreon. Get in there and join it, and that's where we'll get Dan's picks for Spivak versus Gane. But without further ado, Danny, what held you up and left you left you unable?
Well, actually, I have a major question for you. I know you just got back from Italy, and we thought the Vittori crime family was going to come after you in Italy, but as you have always said, Vittori is a Las Vegas boy, a California boy hanging out on the West Coast. Was he the one getting in the way of you getting home?
No, it was actually Hillary. Hillary got in the way this time. Maybe not the one. Wait a minute.
You're telling me you escaped the Clinton crime family and the Vittori crime family?
I did. I really did. Yeah. I was stuck in the eye of Hillary, the storm that is Hillary. The first
Hurricane Hillary?
The first tropical storm to ever hit the shores of Las Vegas. I was there, delayed my flight, delayed me coming to the show, meeting Eric Anders, one of the best, fighters I would have had the opportunity of talking to ever, coming off an amazing fight against the Power Bar. You guys did a great job with the interview. I loved it. If you guys haven't checked it out, go to that episode. It's the previous one, I believe. Really great interview. Some good insights, and your boy was awesome. You guys did hit him with the Alabama questions, though. I warned you not to. I could tell. His eyes glazed over at that point. The interview was done once you started doing the college football questions. But
I
Previous
was about to
match.
ask. I was about to ask. I didn't ask too many.
I thought
football
they were the
questions.
best part of the interview because honestly, like I'm not a big college football guy, and I didn't know shit about shit that Alex was asking him. So
I mean, you brought it up. You were like, "Yeah, our other co-host or other buddies said not to ask you these questions, but we're gonna ask you anyway." And he was like, "Yeah, it's part of my life. It's part of my life." And he said it like that. So.
He Instagrammed out a picture that said from University of Alabama. It was like the moments that changed Alabama sports history forever, and he was a part of that. And he retweeted it on his Instagram. He reposted it to his story, so he clearly does still.
Well, he's still trying to profit. Obviously, any sane
Profit.
person would,
How is he profiting?
boost
He's
up
not
their
fucking
brand.
monetizing on
Profit.
Instagram.
I don't know how people make money on Instagram. I don't know how people make money on Instagram, but I know they do. I know he is. Good on him for it. At the same time, I'm sure he hates it.
Well, listen, we really buried the lead here, guys. But I'm drinking Winter's Piss today, and I'm eating Winter's Pod Fuel today. We got Taco Bell delivered. I haven't eaten all day, guys. But
It's a new portion of the show. We just
no. I'm just saying, we got Pod Fuel in the house. It's gonna be a long episode. We got to break down Izzy versus Strickland, top to bottom, main card and prelims for the fine YouTube audience. Then we got to go to the Patreon and we got to break down UFC Paris Gane versus Spivak again, top to bottom. Dan's gonna have to give detailed breakdowns for every single one of those fights. I'm gonna have to, listen, not along. So I'm gonna eat this food too. But I won.
Make sure you mute your
Yeah,
mic.
Yeah, hit the mute button.
I won about $1,500 last weekend. I think I deserve to drink a little Winter's Piss out of the Wawa cup. I deserve to eat a little Taco Bell, cheese and gordita crunch, no lettuce, chicken quesadilla, well done. Listen, let's get into it.
It's crazy that you won money because you were wasted last week on the episode. You were absolutely trashed.
No, what are you talking about?
You said it yourself on the episode.
Wait, with Eric Anders, you got trashed before a big interview?
After. He was celebrating a little bit.
Oh,
He was,
okay.
I wasn't celebrating. I just was having a couple.
he was in the locker room with us with his ski goggles on.
In all honesty, I stopped watching after the interview. I was like, all right, I know how this show goes. I just want to see Eric Anders.
He said,
Well,
"Baby, we did it."
You should have kept watching. That's a great episode. Full picks for UFC Paris, top to bottom. Check it out, and then tune into the Patreon to get Dan's to see if anything changes. But for now, let's just talk about last weekend. UFC.
What were the
Singapore
records?
real quick. The records, I'm going to get into it. UFC records for year 4. UFC Singapore, Max Holloway versus Chan Sung Jung. So far, guys, our 4th year of doing this show started in May, the beginning of May, and we have given 182 total picks and predictions since then. I lead the pack, 117 correct out of 182 given, 64% accurate in year 4 with almost 200 picks given. Alex is just behind Dan, who is in second place with 108 correct picks. 9 behind me, a chasm.
Quite the chasm.
59%, really not that much. If you think about it like that, he's only 5 percentage points behind me, almost 60% for the year, 108.
3% off of breaking even.
And
need to be
you, Alex,
62%.
are just one prediction behind Dan. You finished this week's leader 9 out of 13. Dan and I tied for 8 out of 13 correct picks given. But you're in 3rd place for the year with 58.7, so 59. You and Dan both at 59, but you round up, his rounds down. You're 107 out of 182 for year 4. And Triple P certified picks lead the way, even ahead of me. 64 correct out of 94 given. Only 30 incorrect out of 94 given. 68% accurate. Last weekend, we went 5 out of 7. The 2 we got wrong, Jarno Aarons and Rolando Bedoya. And we got 4 of them correct. Max Holloway, the big favorite. Henya Nakamura, the big favorite. But Billy Goff, an underdog. Garrett Armfeld, south of -200. And Waldo Cortez Acosta, also, south of -200 favorite. So 1 underdog for you in there. Tried to give you 2. 1 out of 2 came through. And Bedoya, the big favorite of the week that I know everybody had. And we're going to talk about his fight in detail. But let's just start with the most important fight of the night. Max Holloway versus Korean Zombie, and then we'll kind of get into the rest. Max Holloway, I was going into this fight saying I really don't know how to call this one because I do believe that the skill disparity is so great that Max can finish Korean Zombie, even though Max isn't really a finishing type of fighter. And my only concern was, okay, if we get a nerfed Max Holloway, a Max Holloway who's busy worried about Hawaii, a Max Holloway who was too busy worried and being worried and attending to Hawaii to even really fine-tune the last bit of his preparations. A Max Holloway who has to take a long flight. And a Max Holloway who genuinely is a nice guy and has compassion and likes Korean Zombie and knows this is his final fight and knows himself there is a chasm between their skill sets. I thought maybe Max could kind of just walk through him for 5 rounds in a masterclass way, but not a bludgeoning beatdown of a way. Just kind of coast to a decision, make it look pretty, but not really hurt the guy. And we kind of saw glimpses of that in the fight. He dropped Korean Zombie and didn't jump in for the kill. He was going for the choke, and he was continuously looking at the ref and asking if he was out. So, and that can be deceiving. That can sometimes be a guy just wanting the fight to be over and just trying to get the ref to stop it because he doesn't want to keep fighting. Or it could be genuinely what I thought it was, which was Max being so much more skilled than him and a genuinely nice person.
As Uncle Jesse once said, have mercy.
Yeah. So, he had mercy twice there. And then the third time, Korean Zombie, as Nick Diaz would say, he's a karma fighter. Max is a karma fighter like Nick. And if you make it so that he has to knock you out in order to prevent himself from being knocked out, he's going to do it. If Korean Zombie played nice and wasn't the Korean Zombie and didn't have, any manhood or honor about him, he could have just coasted to a decision and gotten beat, and it would have been a boring fight. He could have retired, said, I'm a beat behind Max. I can't do this anymore. But instead, he got several concussions. He got hit with the fucking whole octagon. And overall, I said to Alex on the phone, and I don't want to sound like I'm being mean, but everybody's going to tell you how much they love Korean Zombie, how beautiful the walkout after the fight was when the crowd was singing along. Guys, I teared up. I love the Cranberries. I love that song. And I love that song as a UFC walkout. And for that crowd to just give him that serenade, that was so beautiful. But what I gotta say is Max Holloway is somebody who objectively you look at and say he's one of the best strikers in the UFC, one of the best boxers in the UFC, if not the best. He's somebody who you could put his footage alongside like beautiful, beautiful boxers of all time, like beautiful historic boxers. You could put the way he moves next to them, and you would see similar movements, similar tactics, almost the exact same stuff, right? And Luke Thomas has done this. If you go watch some of Luke Thomas's old videos, he actually has showed exactly what I'm describing. So what I'm trying to say is we all know how good Max is, and we all know what kind of fighter Korean Zombie is. Korean Zombie is called the Zombie because not because, he's float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Korean Zombie is called the Zombie because he gets hit a lot and keeps on coming. So for Korean Zombie to say after the fight, I really thought I could beat him, to me is like so from such a nice, humble guy. It's so arrogant. Because it's like, what would make you think that? Like, either you're delusional. It's almost like having an eating disorder. Like, it's like what you see in the mirror isn't real. What's that? Oh wow, what's that?
Dylan Dennis photoshopped in
subject right now. We're trying
but I just saw this and it's shocking. Dylan Dennis photoshopped himself on a soldier rescuing a small boy, and photoshopped himself on the soldier and Logan Paul on the little boy. What do you think about that, Dan?
They've been going back and forth, right? Mainly Dylan Dennis doing the shit talk with.
I wouldn't say back and forth. I would say fourth.
It's one-way traffic. Yeah. I don't know. It doesn't seem like that crazy. I don't know why you're so enamored with that Instagram post.
I just thought it was hilarious that he'd steal valor.
Literally just broke right in. Just the monologue is completely destroyed now. You stepped all over it.
I know.
What the hell? Come on.
I didn't know. I literally tuned him out so well at this point in my life that if he talks for more than 3 minutes in a row, I just can't hear anything.
Like just for some Dylan Dennis trolling.
I was like, damn, dude, we have a lot of dead air here. I was like, there's a lot of dead air going on. Just to get through that. Luke usually gives it up to the guy with the best record, the week of the best record to take it away. So I thought I would take it away myself. I went 8 fights in a row to the main event, Dan. Correct. You know what got in my way? My willpower. I was too tired. I fell asleep. During the fights. I couldn't rebuild. Whatsoever.
Oh, jeez. Wait a minute. So
I fell asleep. These fights were too early. These fights were too damn early, and I'm protesting this.
I must admit, I started watching at 7 a.m., so I was 2 hours late.
So I started right away, and I fell asleep during the Jarno Aaron's fight. I woke up.
The first fight, you fell asleep? You
Yes.
woke up, you got the thing done, you're like, all right, up at 5. Immediately what goes to sleep?
I woke up for a little bit of the Billy Golf fight. I will admit I fell asleep before he finished him. I woke up again to Aaron Blanchfield losing. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. What else happened today?
Yeah.
Fell asleep again before I saw her win. So I never saw Aaron Blanchfield win. I woke up again. I woke up again for the main event. I woke up. I didn't see another fight after that, and I woke up for the main event, and I watched the whole thing. Fell asleep maybe for round 2 a little bit. I remember waking up and seeing Max have him in a submission, and I was like, Jesus Christ. I was looking at the plus 1,600 Max Holloway by submission for a while, and I was like, am I just a moron for thinking that Max Holloway could potentially submit him? And then I was like, nah, let's go decision, because Max Holloway, he likes to put 15,000 punches on somebody and not finish them.
Yeah.
You know, make it a bloody mess. He's trying to make it Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Luke said he wasn't being merciful. I think he was being a lot less merciful against Calvin Kattar, because he probably could have finished him 17 times over. But he's like Habib Nurmagomedov. He's like, all right, I'll let you back up just to get another takedown and break the record for the most takedowns in one fight.
Well, what Luke is saying is correct here. He is a karma fighter. And in that fight, karma struck Calvin Kattar, because he was saying that, he's really the A side of the boxing aspect of that. It just brought out Max Holloway. Be like, I'm the best boxer in the UFC, as he's ducking and weaving there. Did you see the Anthony Smith Ryan Spann fight?
I didn't see that, but what I did see was I was very comfortable with the fight going to decision until Korean Zombie pulls an all-time move. The Hail Mary before we're even at the... It was like... remember when Korean Zombie beat the absolute shit out of Yair Rodriguez and got knocked out at the last second?
Yeah.
I was thinking, I was like, all right, yeah, Zombie can stay in this. Zombie isn't going down by Max Pillow Hands Holloway. Max Holloway is my favorite fighter. That was a joke. But he lands a lot of significant strikes and doesn't end a lot of fights. We can all say that, right? So I'm like, oh, this is beautiful. And then I see Korean Zombie pull the Derek Brunson chin first, waning punches in, and then just gets knocked out like a knockout that if you got in the UFC video game, you'd be like, this game is so fucking unrealistic, man. Like, just the way his body fell head first. He spiked the football. He spiked his head like a football against the canvas. And Korean Zombie is going out, and he thinks he's going to start singing Christmas jingles now. I don't know what's going on.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, so if you were wondering how long it takes me to eat a cheesy gordita crunch, 75% of a chicken quesadilla meal, and go and get another drink and pour it. It's exactly how long it was from when I exited stage left. But
not bad.
Here's the deal. Like I was saying, Korean Zombie is either completely delusional, like someone with an eating disorder who looks in the mirror and sees a fat person even though they are wasting away. Either he is completely delusional about his own skill level, or he's just like, there has to be a certain level of a delusion. So he's it's not an and or thing. It's like he's delusional and possibly arrogant, because I come on the show, I say I could beat certain fighters. I say I could beat Chase Hooper in a fight. I say I could beat Ian Gary in a fight. But I don't say, like, I could beat Max Holloway in a boxing match, or I could beat Max Holloway in a fight. Korean Zombie did say that, and the way he fought Max Holloway is like how I would have to fight Max Holloway. You know what I mean? It's like he just ran at him, and it's like if you had beaten him doing that, that wouldn't have been like truth. That wouldn't have been like the universe spitting out in the cauldron of combat the outcome that is the answer to the equation. This plus this equals this, right? It wouldn't be like, oh, that's the answer. A guy like Korean Zombie beats Max Holloway. It's like, no, that would have been like, okay, an anomaly. So is that the picture that you wanted to paint? An anomaly? An anomalous picture? You know what I mean? Robbie Lawler finishing dumbass Nico Price That was not an anomaly, and he got to retire on a good note. So Korean Zombie asked for this. And to ask for Max Holloway and say, I really thought I could beat Max Holloway, it's like, dude, no one else did, and for good reason.
And you think you're going to retire off Max Holloway? You're just going to beat Max Holloway and retire? That was your retirement fight. You choose Max Holloway, the hardest dude in the division?
He's going to beat Max Holloway, and then he's going to go on to fight for the belt against Volkanovski, who just pitched a shutout against you. Like, I mean, none of it made any sense. Except the only part of it that made sense was that he could have went in there and had a nice point fighting match with Max for 5 rounds and hugged him at the start of each round and got the crowd, the respectful crowd, Eastern market, gotten them going, yeah. And they could have done some jiu-jitsu. He could have tried for a twister. Max could have tried for a guillotine. It could have been a nice, fun fight, but he got crazy in there. And like Weidman, his wife deserves better. and no, I'm saying his wife deserves a guy who's going to not put himself at risk like that. If I went out, that's like me going snowboarding and being like, I'm going to do a backflip and then just doing a backflip, breaking my fucking leg or neck, and then coming home to my fucking spouse and her saying, what were you thinking? I'm even like,
I thought I had him.
I thought it'd be fun. I don't what is it? What's the, like, she'd be like, you have a family. You have like me to worry about. Like, your head hit the canvas so hard.
Luke, ironically enough, I was going to say that you think that Max Holloway.
That's why she was crying. She wasn't crying because she was proud. She was crying because she was concerned.
Yeah.
You saw what we saw.
My question for you was,
I probably have a brain hemorrhage the way I whacked my head this morning.
I was going to say, you weren't thinking about your spouse and your kid whatsoever.
I was picking up my kids' toys. Why did I sue the apartment complex? Because that is not up to code. I want somebody in there measuring that bar. I want somebody measuring that, and I want somebody suing this place.
My question is, how come you haven't baby-proofed that already? I mean, what are you thinking?
It's so high up, the baby's not going to hit it.
Then how did your head hit it if it's so high up? How did your head hit it if it's so high up?
I went down and I stood up to adult height. The baby can't stand up to adult height.
You can't even stand to adult height.
You're fucking done. He's in the penalty box, Dan. So anyway, you actually watched the fights, so I'm more interested in speaking with you about this anyway. Let me share the screen. Guys, this is a sneak peek, a glimpse into what the Patreon audience gets to see every single week.
Hey.
We're going to share the entire screen here. And while we got Alex out of here, I'm just going to run through this. Ooh, that was a spoiler. So can you guys see this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. This was my open bets, sheet. It's pretty self-explanatory. Span blew apart everything. Everything except what I cashed out on, which was this $150 bet to pay $2.6K. Billy Goff wins, Garrett Armfeld wins, Justin Taffa wins, Aaron Blanchfield wins. Going into after the Blanchfield victory, I said to myself, I cannot allow Ryan Spann to potentially undo the hard work of American Billy Goff, American Gary Armfeld, Aaron Blanchfield, the pride of New Jersey. Justin Taffa, no offense, the work he did Junior Taffa wasn't really all that hard. The work he did, knocking out Parker Porter in the first round, just like your brother did, not exactly the hardest work. So I'm not including him in that. But for Blanchfield, for Armfeld, for Goff, those doing the hard work, those representing America, putting America on their back in foreign country, knocking the fucking hometown guy out, finishing him, and just displaying, that American dominance Bryce Mitchell was talking about. Go to PPP certified Instagram to see what I'm talking about. Check my story. I couldn't allow Ryan Spann to potentially undo that. And at this point, the $150 bet to pay $2.6K if Ryan Spann wins, they were offering me 1.390, like almost 1.4 thousand or 1.5 thousand cash to take off the table, right? So I looked at it, and at this time, you see this one here, the 4-fight parlay was still intact, $100 to pay 1.1K. Armfeld under 2.5 in the Waldo Acosta-Cortez fight, under 1.5 in the Junior Taffa fight, and then Spann 4-fight parlay. I saw this one. I said, look, that one I'm not as emotional about because it's just a couple unders in Armfeld. If that one goes to shit, so be it. They were offering me $500 for that one. I said, I'll let that one ride for $1K, but I'll cash this one out for a little over $1K. And I also had this one that already paid $129. Really, this just kind of this $230, that just kind of like paid me back for some of the bets I lost and for some of the hedge outs I made, right? It wasn't really like profit. It was kind of just like cleaning up the messes of like all this stuff below in the graveyard that you see that I had to move down below. But, I would have won another $200 if Spann won because of the 7-fight parlay, which was the second half. of the card, my picks. I would have won another 1,000 if Span won, and I would have won another 100 if Span won. So I even made a solo bet at one point on Ryan Span way earlier in the week. And overall, you know, the question I had to ask myself was the cash out amount that they were offering me after the Blanchfield fight, the 1.3, 1.4K, was that an amount that I would comfortably bet on Ryan Span to double it? And it was like, fuck no. I should have asked myself, is 500 an amount comfortable? And I would have also said fuck no to that. But I felt like, you know, might as well play the game to win the game, you know, play to win and at least leave one of them in. So, I cashed out. I alerted the Patreon. I said, guys, I'm cashing out of this bet. If you are tailing me, you should too. If not financial advice, of course. And, you know, it was good. It was a good night. I was still pissed that Ryan Span lost. In my opinion, Ryan Span should be cut from the UFC. Anthony Smith is still an absolute bum. I love what Alex Pereira said. I'm going to read the quote. You know, it should have been a draw, really. I think that the 10-8 in round 2 is definitely warranted, the way he did damage, the way Smith looked like he wanted out of there. But I just love what Alex Pereira said. He said, I screenshotted this, or maybe I didn't get a good mainstream. He just basically, let me fight it. Alex, talk about the fights, guys. You didn't see it, Alex. Dan, what do you think? I mean, isn't it so poetic? Anthony Smith, somebody who's been a thorn in my side since the start of the show. He's the one who spoils me out of another $1,000. But I was very happy with myself that I did the smart thing, cashed out, didn't trust Ryan Span. He's not trustworthy. He's a nutcase.
So going into this fight, I had originally picked Ryan Span, as I'm sure pretty much everyone had as well. However, upon looking at it, if you saw that line, Anthony Smith was at a plus 110. And I'm just thinking to myself, this screams Anthony Smith line, because there's no way that normally he would be only a plus 110 dog to Ryan Span. So I think something was known, you know, maybe something within the traveling of Singapore. It's obviously
idiot. It was known that he submitted him in the first round a year ago.
Yeah,
that's what was fucking known.
I don't think it was a year ago. I think it was longer than that. And I don't know. Everyone knows that Anthony Smith is not good. So for him to be only plus 110, you know, I'm not going to say that it should be officially on my record, but
Ian Parker.
It was 2 years ago. It was Luke. And you're saying that Ryan Span's a nutcase. Anthony Lionheart Smith is fighting his demons every single time he's in the cage.
No,
you see him with Johnny Walker.
He can't get out of his own way. He can't get out of his own way and defeat aging fighters who are fighting with one eye, and you've already almost finished them, and all you need to do is actually try a little bit in the third round. It's not even like Anthony was like efforting in the third round.
Oh man, he stayed down during that second round. He's like, I really don't want to get up. Like, if you just want to land a couple more shots so I can get out of here, that'd be awesome.
Bro.
With the eye, the doctor's talking to him. They're like, how many fingers do I have? He was like, 11, 12
if
fingers.
The doctor, he said all the right numbers. I was lip reading him. But if a doctor has to talk to a fighter during a round, guess what, guys? That's a 10-8 round. If a doctor is thinking about stopping a fight because the ref is too much of a fucking soft yellow belly to fucking do so.
Well, with the new rules, is that the case? Didn't they just change the rule where the doctor comes in and wipes your eye if you get a little schmudge?
I mean, listen, it should have been a draw, but honestly, I'm not even willing to really fuck Ryan Span. Like, I'm not even really that willing to advocate for him. I wanted my money. I wanted my fucking $500 for it to be a draw, but he doesn't deserve a draw. Ryan Span deserves that to be an L. 0-2 against Anthony Smith means you're fucking gone. You're cut. Like, the only other fighters who lose to Anthony Smith are fighters that they spoon feed Anthony, that are 60 years old, like Shogun or Rashad Evans or whoever. But let me just say this. Alex Pereira really hit the nail on the head. He said, because they asked Anthony about Alex Pereira moving up in weight. He said that he's like, oh, he's not the big scary monster at this division that he would have been at 185. Whatever. So Anthony, you moved up from 185. Like, he goes, the only ones who speak bad about me are Anthony Smith types, washed up vets who never amounted to anything.
Oh my God, that's brutal.
And that's a former champ talking to you.
Yes, that's a former champ who came in and lapped your ass 12 times over. He came into the UFC and won a belt in the division you got chased out of 5 to 10 times faster than you were able to do it. I don't know how long you've been in the UFC, but it's like he came in and did everything that you've been wanting to do your whole life way faster. That's the first thing. I'm not trying to be mean, but anytime we talk about a washed up vet, we're just going to say an Anthony Smith type because Alex Pereira just coined that term. You know, Anthony Smith type. It's in the Merriam-Webster dictionary. It's in Webster's. What's the other dictionary?
He's only saying that because he's just as tall as Alex Pereira. But when he gets in the ring, he's going to find out that Alex Pereira slouched a little bit in those pictures. Because you see him next to Johnny Walker.
Hey, make the fight. Hey, Anthony, you won your fight against Ryan Spann, and he won against Jan Blachowicz. Let's make the fight. Let's make the fight.
Just like you thought you would have beat Glover. Just like you tried to pick on an old man.
Things about Alex Smith or Anthony Smith with his ground game. I really want to figure this out because actually, let's get Joe Rogan talking about this. He'll make a fucking case for it. Let's get Chael Sonnen talking about this. He'll really make a case for it. Well, actually, Anthony Smith, when you really do the numbers behind it, he's got some factors that are going to be interesting puzzles for Pereira to solve. Let's get that narrative going that he has a chance so that Pereira can put his fucking chin on the other side of his face and turn his head around like he's in the fucking Exorcist movie. And with one punch, right? I mean, that's what would happen. Let's be real. And there's a reason, just like Wonder Boy wants to fight no knee Usman and not Ian Gary, Anthony Smith doesn't want no smoke with Alex Pereira. Let's be real. So I would love for that fight to happen.
And let's not forget,
I'm going to get mine off Anthony Smith.
Christ.
That's real. He's robbed me
Christ.
of so much money. He has robbed me about $21,000 as I have it. So unless he wants to do a T-shirt fucking deal for me on the Believe You Me show to raise 20,000, 21,000, it was 20,000 before. Now it's 21,000, $21,130 to be honest, to be exact. But that's what I'm owed by Anthony Smith, and because it was the Jimmy Crute fight and the Ryan Spann fight, right? Two fluky. We had a crab in the bucket doctor, and we had a corrupt, possibly. I don't know. I mean, what else to use? Referee,
paid for.
Doctor. He's been the one doctor should have stopped the fight. The most recent doctor should have stopped the fight, and the other doctor in the Jimmy Crute fight shouldn't have stopped the fight. So he's been given two generous doctors and one generous judge, two generous judges. But I've been given no money. My daughter's without a college fund at this point, and you see, I'll do the Bobby Althoff thing, Alex. I know you love Bobby Althoff. I'll do the oh, I'm broke. I don't have any money. Will that get me famous, Alex? Will that get me? No, probably not. You're right.
No, you got to go Israel Adesanya and got one big titty, one small.
Well, I mean, listen. Real recognize real.
And you fake. That's the next part, right?
No, I'm just saying Max knows that I deserve that money and that Anthony's.
I thought you were singing a song. Giga Chikats, Luke. You had some pretty strong opinions on him, right?
I think that Alex Caceres is the real story of that fight. I think Alex Caceres is an elite fighter, and I think people need to put some respect on his name. And I think that just because he was on The Ultimate Fighter and he has his crystals and he's got his afro and he's got his Bruce Lee drum set and all that, it's like, he's not as silly and cartoonish as he wants you to believe he is. He looks like a pot smoking guy in a Scooby-Doo cartoon, right? I mean, but he's elite. He's pound for pound top 20, in my opinion, in the UFC. He's pound for pound top 20. Who else can strike with Giga Chikadze for 3 rounds? He fights guys in a fan-friendly, exciting way that isn't boring. He fights guys where they're strongest all the time, thrives, survives, and even wins sometimes. So I'm ready to get on the Alex Caceres train. I know it's been a long time. I watched him. I think actually the first season of The Ultimate Fighter that I ever watched was his season.
That's not true. But he is the Sigma version of Brian Kelleher. Like Brian Kelleher with the ukulele and all the other weird shit Brian Kelleher does. A level up, like from Charmander to Charmeleon. That is what Alex Caceres is. And Sean Strickland is the Charizard.
No, Yuri Prohaska is the Charizard.
Very true. Very true.
No, Sean Strickland's the Charizard of Colby Covington.
Yeah, he is. Let's call it.
No. It's
Blastoise. He's Blastoise.
Colby, Sean, John Jones. And John's like, why? And he'll never understand why, but it is the truth. You know what I mean? He's like, I hate Colby. It's like, you're also. The only thing is Colby's pretending. You know what I mean? That's why he's.
No, he's selling us a different character. He's such a good actor that he's showing us that he's such an amazing guy, and then all we hear is just bad things about him. Where in reverse, Colby Covington shows you that he is a bad guy, and then you hear he pays for Themba Garimbo's.
And I think when I come back as a heavyweight, I'll try to do more legally controversial shit.
He's injected his ass, so he's.
That's my favorite one. Where he trails off. He's like, he's injecting it in his asshole. Dude, like that video, he said, I have every one of him. Hold on, let's just go through it for the people who have never seen this.
Excuse my language there, but he's in his ass, injected it in his asshole, in his asshole. He's injected his ass, so he.
Like 6 times in like a 5-second clip, and I think there's ones I didn't get. Like I didn't clip out.
You definitely didn't get all of them in that.
I didn't get all of them. That's what I'm saying. Like there's more.
I thought
ready. Yeah.
what? I didn't know there's 5 different variations.
There's so many. All right, so I think we just gotta. I mean,
that's what you don't understand about Luke's creative madness when it comes to the drops. He has 5 different ones of Colby Covington saying injecting it in his asshole, but he can't add one that I've sent him. I stopped making drops, ladies and gents, because he never added one.
I have 3 Rob Fords, and I had a lot more. I deleted some.
Yes, I've made mistakes. All like it is what it is, and I can't change the past. And
okay, so I just want to get back to the topic at hand here. Erin Blanchfield, I've reached out formally. I have offered her to be the first female fighter ever to be on our show. And as long as she's active in the UFC, I can promise her she can be the only UFC fighter to ever be on the show. Only female UFC fighter to ever be on the show. She can have that seat for as long as she wants to keep it. And I will only let another woman sit in the seat if she allows it. So that is my formal offer to Erin B. Miss B, you are the queen. You are the queen of New Jersey, and you're the pride of New Jersey. You're our pride. I personally have bet on you solo in parlays, and I respect you so much. I respect you more than Ryan Spann, so much so that I cashed out the bet for you, really, because I said to myself, Erin worked way too hard in this fight. She's cold-blooded, and she never, ever quits, and I love you, and I want you to know that when I won my $1,500 or so this weekend, I felt nothing. And I said in my head, I go, it's because you're cold-blooded like Erin Blanchfield. I aspire to be you a lot. And I would literally, I'm at your beck and call. So whatever you need. I feel like the guy who made the Julia video. He's like, Julia, don't go back to that boyfriend of yours. Remember, you know what I'm talking about? No. Morning, Julia. You don't know what I'm talking about? That guy?
No.
He's like, I want to build you everything you ever deserve in the world. All right, anyway.
Luke made this video. Luke you remember that one?
Perfect. So listen, Erin, amazing. Junior Tafa got it done. Waldo Cortez Acosta also got it done. Gary Armfeld is amazing. Billy Goff is amazing. I mean, like I said, check Bryce Mitchell, what he posted on Instagram about why America is just the best country in the world. And I mean, that'll give you a little hint as to why Billy Goff was able to just roll in there and smoke Yasaku Kinoshita. They were calling Yasaku Kinoshita, they were calling him, or was it Tosh? Yeah. They were calling Kinoshita. They were calling him Japan's Conor McGregor. That's what they were calling him. Well, guess what, guys? I guess Billy Goff is America's Dustin Poirier, right? I mean, because he just smashed your boy. And then, yeah, so I mean, I love this shit. I love Gary Armfeld. I love Billy Goff. I can't wait to bet on them again. Who I can wait to bet on again is Rolando Bedoya. Right? That's how we all feel. That's how the whole betting community feels about that, right? Because everybody from Cody J. Safdie to the rest of them were like, oh, but to us, Triple B certified, Bedoya. That was the trap, man. What we have to stop doing, and here's what we did in 2 cases on this card, and they both bit us in the ass. We got to stop betting on fighters who lose well. Bedoya, he lost well against Chaos Williams. Jarno Erins lost well against Gomis. Short notice, right? We got to stop doing this. We got to stop expecting leagues better. Like, you know what I mean? What we have to start expecting is people to be ready on short notice. Simple as that. We can understand UFC jitters, first time or stuff. We can get all that. Take that into consideration. But Bedoya dropped the ball big time. That was a winnable fight, a fight he could have won, was heavily favored in, and given a big chance coming off a loss, disappointed, dropped the ball entirely. So,
well,
me,
shut
he
that
was the
baby,
worst
shut that baby
performer.
up, shut that baby up, and besides that, I was just, yeah. Besides that, like, I mean, but no matter what, in that fight, you bet on somebody who lost well. Like Keenan Song lost well to Ian Gary. If you look at how Neil Magny just lost to Gary a couple weeks ago,
Neil Magny didn't lose well.
No, he didn't.
Around like a floppy fish.
But Keenan Song almost knocked his ass the fuck out. If you guys remember that, he clipped him in the first round and almost sent Ian Gary away, and we would have never had to deal with him again. My main question, Luke, is what happened with Lord and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang? Because Dan's the only one with the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and it seemed like it was a pretty quick fight.
The back and forth fight. Dan went with Lord. Really, either could have won at any moment. It was such a, those kind of matchups are like these raised, like in that division at that weight level, and with the level of like power combined with speed and like just like heartiness. I'm trying to figure out the words. Guys like Njokuani, guys like Rodriguez, guys like the guy who beat Rodriguez, guys like Lord, right? Like they're hearty men at this weight class, and they get into it and they get into firefights, and whether they're going for submissions or punches or ground and pound, like it's always on, So I think in these kind of fights where you all recognize the skill levels there, it's just like look for those under 1.5s, because but then sometimes you get them both respecting each other, But what I'm trying to say though is like this fight wasn't built to last. Like from the moment they started throwing, it was like, oh, this is crazy. I just thought Njokuani's reach would have been the bigger factor, and the height and everything.
Let's get Lord versus Anthony Smith. How about we dial that one up, huh? If we don't get Piera,
that's a different. Isn't Lord 185?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Smith ran away from 185.
Yeah, Smith wanted to get fat and be skinny fat fighting 205ers.
Yeah.
He wanted to fight an old man in Glover Teixeira, and he got his teeth knocked in.
Yeah. Well, I took a sprinkle on Ya Liang round 1, $25 to pay $300.
Luke, what happened with her? Na Liang was our saving grace. Na Liang sunk all ships.
She almost did win. Like in the first round, she did almost win at one point. And
you're telling me the bucket of milk beat up Na Liang
in round 2, but it wasn't without some significant errors in round 1 to make Dan's butt tighten up. Because so.
Caralho.
I want to get into Izzy versus Sean Strickland, I guess. Guys, we won money. Well, if you were with me, we won money. We had fun. We cashed out. I wish we won more. Ryan Span's a bum. Cut him from the UFC. He has a great coach. Safe say this is not about you, but you gotta cut him because he's making you look bad. You're doing everything right, Safe. I don't even need to be there. I don't need to be a fly on the wall to know that you were giving him the tutelage, the time, the attention, the patience.
No, Luke. Since Brandon Moreno got to Fortis MMA, everything's been downhill. Name a Fortis MMA fighter who's won in the last.
I'm going to take it a step further. I think Ryan Spann should actually be arrested. For what he did. I think it should be at the very least investigated. He should be arrested. I'm not saying he should be tried with any crime.
And expunge Jeff Neal's record.
Take him into custody. Bring him in for investigation. Put handcuffs on him. Bring him downtown to the station. Detain him. Arrest him formally, process him, and ask him questions. Good cop, bad cop. Have somebody in there giving him water. Have another guy slamming his fists on the table and just being like, "Tell us what happened in there."
He would admit to a crime he didn't commit.
We'll keep him awake for several days until he's ready to tell us the truth. And
I don't give a fuck.
Cut him. Cut Ryan Spann from the UFC, and don't allow him take his license away. Like the license he has to do. If we can't arrest him, call the state athletic commission. Not anybody on the show. I'm saying like if the world isn't ready to, if the police, whatever county he lives in, I don't know, but maybe we can at least investigate and find reason. Because if you can't beat Anthony Smith, it's like it's gonna be hard to get you like a license to fight. You know what I mean? Like we can't. Like that's the benchmark. It's like if you can't beat Anthony Smith, it's like, well, should you be fighting at all? You know, that kid beat Anthony Smith.
What kid?
The Kraken?
Oh God, yeah.
It is what it is. Yes, I have smoked crack cocaine.
Dude, did you see that video I sent you of Steven Seagal talking to Daniel Cormier? And he's he's like a foot taller than Daniel Cormier and like a foot wider. And I'm like, people are always talking shit about Steven Seagal. I think they're talking shit because they're scared of him.
Well, you know what I thought was hilarious?
I think they're trying to like make it so ridiculous that nobody would ever ask them to fight Steven Seagal. But I'll bet right now, today, if we get Steven in there with DC today, I think you'd be surprised. I think a lot of people will be surprised at how a bare knuckle MMA in game bred promotions, bare knuckle MMA, they do that. They do that. Mm-hmm. Steven Seagal versus DC, I think a lot of people will be very surprised. And if it's in the street, it's a whitewashing. Like it's Steven Seagal poking DC right in the eyes and then kicking him in the nuts, hitting him right here, and DC actually probably ending up, you know what I mean? Not even able to compete again, if you know what I mean.
Well, like, Luke, now you're talking a lot about size. Earlier, you said it would be easier to beat up Ian Gary than it would be Max Holloway. And considering that
a lot more one-dimensional.
Well, I would think that a skinny Hawaiian guy. Huh?
What's wrong with that statement? I don't get it.
I think that a skinny Hawaiian guy that doesn't know a lick about wrestling, they don't teach any wrestling in the islands.
Ian Gary's beefing up whoever's
Ian Gary's huge, dude.
They got him seeing, you know what I mean? They got him seeing all the right people.
He's eating the right acai bowls in Brazil.
He's eating all the right acai bowls, you know what I mean? And I don't have, you know, I'm a regular working class stiff. You see my shirt. It's flannel. I mean, I'm a regular guy. So I don't have access to, I've never even been to the doctor in my adult life. So
the cowboy. You're a cowboy, right?
I would love to see an endocrinologist. I would love to be able to see the right kind of doctors, get on the right kind of stuff, be all I can be. I would love that, you know. But for a guy like me, for guys like us, I'm not a celebrity. You know, I'm not a Kardashian.
But you are on Ozempic, right?
I'm not on Ozempic. I don't need to be on Ozempic.
All right, well.
All right, guys, go to the Patreon if you want to hear the breakdown for Gone versus Spivak. We're going through it again with a fine-tooth comb. Dan's giving his full card breakdown, detailed picks. If you want to see, you know, break down Sean Strickland versus Israel Adesanya, UFC 293, you're in luck because we're doing it right now. And we're going to have to warm up here. It's been a while since we've all three been in the same room, so we're going to have to start at the very bottom. We'll timestamp it. Don't worry. If you don't care about the prelims, if you're a casual, if you really shouldn't even be here, then we'll timestamp it for you, I guess. It's funny because everybody who wants the timestamps. It's always the fair weather people, the people who see a lot in the Discord. I don't see a lot in the Patreon. I don't see a lot in the comments, except to tell us that we didn't do the fucking timestamps, you know? So I'm just letting you guys know.
I purposefully get them wrong every week. I purposefully make the timestamps at different times than what the fight is. And that's my dirty little secret is like, I'll either put it 5 seconds before we start that one or 5 seconds after we start that one, give or take a few seconds.
I don't like that Dan just left. Like, if it's not an emergency, I think we should have to get a hall pass or ask permission to like, hey, I got to go. Or like, at least just say something like,
who do we ask?
No, we just say to the group, I'll be right back. Like, let us know that you'll be right back. Otherwise, like, I don't. What he did was, I just think it was a little rude. But all right, I want to show my screen. I want to share my screen for this.
Why,
guys? This is going to be a fun episode. Like and subscribe. Get us to that next level. We need Kevin Jousset versus Kiefer Crosby.
Big Daddy.
You know, Kevin Jousset, he looks like Wish version of Bo Nickel. Kiefer Crosby looks like Wish version of Drew Dober.
No, not Drew Dober, like Carlos Olberg.
No, dude, Brian Stan. He looks like he looks like Amazon version of Brian Stan. He looks better than Brian. He's somewhere between Stan and Dober, right? He's worse looking than Drew Dober, better looking than Brian Stan. Agreed? You're not saying anything.
I think he's more handsome than both of those guys. That's why I said Carlos Ulberg.
Drew Dober is much more handsome than Big Daddy. Okay.
No, Drew Dober has a Buzz Lightyear chin. He looks like he's got enough chin for two people. That guy needs some of Drew Dober's chin.
This guy looks like Bo Nickel and
Arnold Allen.
No. Yeah, he looks like Jiminy Flick. What's his name? Jiminy Flick?
Jimmy Flick.
Jimmy the Brick? The Brick, yeah. Jiminy the Brick Flick. He looks like Jiminy Flick and Bo Nickel combined. All right, so he's from France by way of Australia, and other guys from Dublin, Ireland. City Kickboxing versus SBG Ireland. I'm really gonna just take the hard worker at City Kickboxing all day and all night. I just know that the guy Eugene Behrman is in there making him run face first into a wall and throwing water balloons at him. So I'm gonna go with Eugene Behrman and the boys to whip this guy into shape, get him out there performing. Get them out there to start the vibes right, the night right for the boys. I'm going with Kevin Jussier.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I mean, Kiefer's coming off
on Topology favoring Jussier. Just want to let you know.
Kiefer's coming off a win against Alex Oliveira.
Old man. Rickety Bones gathering green dust.
Yeah, and beat up that dude from Love Island in a boxing match. Aaron Chalmers.
No one in Ireland's working hard.
No one in Ireland
came through and threw gold coins for everybody, and they ain't working hard. Trust me.
All they're doing out there is beating their kids, based on statistics, not my opinion.
Gary should really, honestly, they should make him go to Ireland and do public service campaigns, because it's you want to talk about Neil Magny. You want to talk about Magny? Go look in your own backyard, dude. Why don't you go do a fucking set of government public announcements for the fine Emerald Dial?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too sold on this one. I kind of want to go with Kiefer Sutherland, but I'm going to roll with Kevin. I mean, one of his only losses is to Jack Della Maddalena, so he's fought some good guys. I mean, I don't know this Caleb fellow, but the rest of the guys he's fought seem decent, or at least the ones he lost to, whereas this guy lost to Michael Jackson, who died after, or he died before he even fought him. So it's kind of crazy. They lost to Michael Jackson post-mortem. I don't know, Dan. What do you think?
I think it's hilarious that every Adesanya card is so boring. They all suck ass. They all stink. For this one, I'm gonna have to go with Kiefer Crosby, Big Daddy. All right, we got the Irish fella. I think he's gonna spoil the party early on. Is this a City Kickboxing bloke?
He's fighting against a City Kickboxing bloke.
No, I know.
Kickboxing versus SBG.
Oh wait, this guy's SBG. I'm gonna go with
Kiefer.
Gotta go with Kevin Jussier then.
Okay, yeah.
If you're fighting for SBG, you're a born loser unless your last name is McGregor. So Kevin Jussier.
Well, what about the Mad Samurai? He fights out SBG.
Who's that?
Dennis, Dylan Dennis.
He does not fight at SPJ. No, Johnny Walker, but he fights at everywhere. He's always going here and going there.
Much like Ian Gary.
He didn't finish Anthony Smith either.
Next Anthony Smith kicked it into a different gear than we've ever seen in the octagon.
Next fight, we got Mr. Widebody, Nasrat Hopkras, Kevin Gastelum Jr. He is a square. I don't mean that derogatorily. I mean, if you look at his topology picture, the way his shoulders go out, the build of his body, the shape of his head, this guy is a Roblox character. He is playing Roblox. He is playing Minecraft. He is in the Minecraft game. He has come out of it, and he is here to fight from Afghanistan, from Germany. Where are we? Who knows? But I think he's a fraud. I'm ready to say it, and this might be controversial, but if we need to give you John Makdessi, who we'll mention later, to get your ass a win after back-to-back losses to Bobby Green, 12 losses, Dan Hooker, 10 losses, right? and you're coming in 28 years old, losing to guys with 12 and 10 losses, then you're not the next big thing. You're not Shavkat, you're not Kamzat, you're not even Ian Gary. You're more like Paddy the Baddy. And you know who they don't give Paddy the Baddy? Guys his own age, because he'd get smoked out. So that's why they gave you McDessie to get you a win. But at the end of the day, TriStar Gym, very savvy management, very savvy team. They're instructing this kid the right way. They're giving him the right kind of matchups. They're giving him the right kind of – the John McDessie matchup was a great matchup. The previous two were great matchups, but he couldn't get the job done. So, I'm hard on Nasrat because I had high hopes for him. I don't anymore. I think he will come into this fight the favorite. The lone wolf, Landon Quinones, is making his debut. He should be the rightful underdog. I want to capitalize on Quinones here. I think Kill Club FC is going to have him ready for this moment. Biggest opportunity of his life in Sydney, Australia. Coming off a win 11 months ago against John McDessie. I just don't know that that's going to sharpen your blade enough for a fucking guy who's as hungry as a UFC newcomer, your own age. It's just, to me, Chael Sonnen says it all the time. A fight is won by the guy who is least surprised, meaning the Art of War says the element of surprise, most powerful element in the Art of War. So if you're in a fight and you suddenly encounter resistance that is more resistance than you are used to or are anticipating, things, as Chael Sonnen says, start to unravel very quickly. So it's my estimation that this will be a much deeper level of competition than he's getting in the gym or has gotten in his last 3 UFC fights. And he's 1 and 2 in the last 3. So if all those things are true, then Quinones gets his hand raised.
Well, what if I told you Quinones got beat the shit out of by Jason Knight? What if I told you that? What if I told you that on The Ultimate Fighter this past season? What if I told you that? Because that's not on Tapology. You have to do a little bit deeper of a dive for that. He was one of the 7 fighters on Conor McGregor's team who got beat the shit out of during that time and would sit there and get interviewed and be like, yeah, just Conor and his mindset. It's like, you guys don't understand how many fighters are delusional. Yeah, you hear Sean O'Malley saying he's going to be champion one day, but you don't hear how many of these fucking idiots say, oh, I'm going to be the champ. I'm going to be the champ, who have no chance of even scratching the top 10. Landon Quinones is going to get the shit kicked out of him by Nasrat Hapkras. He was supposed to fight last weekend.
Why is it not on Tapology that he fought Jason Knight, who is good, by the way? Jason Knight is good.
He is good.
Well, Jason Knight got the shit kicked out of him by the guy who won. I'll tell you that much. Okay. Like bad. Jason Knight couldn't even get a hit on him. They were in the semifinals. Jason Knight and the guy who won, I forget his name. His name's escaping me.
Hollabaugh? Kurt Hollabaugh?
Kurt Hollabaugh, yes. Kurt Hollabaugh.
So you're telling me that Jason Knight in an exhibition that is not listed on Tapology, and I didn't watch The Ultimate Fighter because I'm not a casual, you're telling me that
I think that means that you are probably a casual. I've watched The Ultimate Fighter every season.
Casuals watch The Ultimate Fighter because they want to see the fucking reality show. They want to see the guys drinking and doing pranks and playing fucking frisbee golf. They want to see all that. I don't watch The Ultimate Fighter.
This season had Roosevelt Roberts, Austin Hubbard, Kurt Hollabaugh, Jason Knight, and Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler.
Memories with Alex. I can't. Huh? I have a 1-year-old I'm trying to make memories with, okay? I'm not going to sit there and stare at a screen when I have so much staring at screens that I have to do anyway. So you got a long NFL season upon us, Alex.
Very true.
You want me to run through The Ultimate Fighter when I can just – my biggest problem with Ultimate Fighter is that the matchups already happened. I don't like – and also here's the biggest thing.
Well, actually,
I noticed seeing they show.
No.
Anything worth seeing they show in the previews. There's nothing worth seeing outside of what they already show. We saw McGregor push Chandler in the fucking previews before the first episode, and that was the only interesting moment in the whole thing.
No, there was a bunch of interesting moments, and something that you don't understand is that when a fight already happened and they have all of those cameras, you get the best angle on everything.
You're actually.
And I was actually talking to my girlfriend about this. She was like, how come we never see any of these angles in like the fights that happened over the weekend? And I was like, because this isn't live. This is a lot of post-production.
Very astute on her part. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I was like, they have 6 cameras around the cage, a dolly one over top, filming the whole thing. So they know which angle is the best after it happens. They're looking at every single one and comparing them against one another. So the production of the fights that happen on that show are great, and it was a very entertaining season.
Look at what great banter we got, what great dialogue, what great back and forth by me just digging my heels in the sand and saying it's not good. Here, you've proven your point. I can see the Ultimate Fighter is good. I do like it. I should have watched it. I don't know why I didn't.
But Money Moicano is right about these guys crying after the first day they're in.
Yeah.
Like shut the fuck up. You don't miss your family that bad. I could use a vacation myself.
I got a little nervous. I watched a lot of UFC. I got nervous about committing to yet another thing. And I heard there was a lot of commercials, and I don't really deal with commercials in my life. I have YouTube Premium.
There's no commercials. It's on a streaming service.
No, there is commercials, I heard.
ESPN Plus, no commercials.
Alex, there's commercials.
I didn't see one, and I watched the whole fucking thing.
All right.
You, as somebody who didn't watch it, are going to tell me there are commercials, and I watched the whole thing, and I didn't see one commercial.
All right, let's move on. So
wait, let me take this pick.
Well, no,
Nazrat, Hapras. I'm splitting it. I'm going with Alex. Taking Nazrat. Only been finished one time. This other dude, Landon Donovan or whatever his name is, way too finish dependent. Nazrat, consummate professional. Also, hate betting against guys that are, their first fight in the UFC, unless they're super highly touted, which this guy is not. So, although Nazrat has been a disappointment, he's seasoned enough. He's strong enough of a veteran that he should be able to win this guy via decision, I'd say.
Well, I'll truly be certified Nazareth Hopcross, I guess, because I'm a man enough to consider my two colleagues' opinions here and know when maybe I'm just wrong. At the end of the day, I didn't know about the Ultimate Fighter stuff. I didn't know this guy was on the Ultimate Fighter.
Jason Knight said it was quick and easy. That's what he said about this guy. What does Nazareth Hapcrass do to him? Come on.
Yeah, I'll take Nazareth. We'll trophy certified Nasty Naz. Next one's even easier. Let's not waste a ton of time. Obviously, Malarkey looked really good against Muhammad Naimov. I picked Muhammad Naimov as a big-time underdog. I was able to capitalize on that. Everybody else wasn't willing to take the risk. It was going with somebody who, is relatively decent, and people expect a lot from Jamie Malarkey, right? I don't expect a lot from him. That's why I faded him in the Naimov fight, but I at least expect him to be able to rebound well and conservatively against a guy 10 years his senior in John McDessie. So I will be taking Jamie Malarkey here. I'm hoping that the market corrects itself and gives us anything south of fucking minus 800, which is what the line should be in theory, based on age and, skill levels. And just the fact that John McDessie's very stiff. He's just a stiff guy, stiff as a board. He's stiff as a board. But I'm going with Jamie Malarkey. I'm hoping to get him at like minus 200.
Yeah, I'm going to take Malarkey as well. Who is the guy from England who kind of looks like Malarkey? Who just got his face
Prince
cut
Harry.
open? Huh?
Prince Harry.
No, the guy who had his face cut open and I thought he won the fight. I thought that was Jamie Malarkey, but it's not. I thought he fought far more recent.
I thought you were thinking of the guy who fought and won the controversial decision against the guy who you trained with.
No, not Jack Della Maddalena.
I thought, Jamie Malarkey. I mixed him up with Jack Della Maddalena.
I'm getting him
They're
mixed
both
up.
ugly as all sin, dude. You know what I mean? Because they're both ugly as sin. Jamie Malarkey, one top 5 ugliest guys in the UFC for sure. No offense.
Jamie Malarkey has a big nose, much like Jack Della Maddalena, but Jack Della's
he literally looks like. I mean, I'm not.
Jack Della's is on his left cheek. That's the only difference between him and Jamie Malarkey.
Bro, he is literally going to be 4 inches taller with 6 inches of reach and 10 years of age over John McDessie. So, this is like something out of a movie. John McDessie's like Rocky or something.
He's gonna take him down.
He's
probably,
like Cinderella Man. He's like Cinderella Man. I mean, if Jamie Malarkey loses this one, he should not only be cut from the UFC, but he should be cut. Like they should actually carve.
Draw blood.
Yeah, they should because I just read you all those advantages. If you're gonna cut weight and be a weight bully and be so much bigger than your opponent and so much younger than your opponent, and you have just as many fights as your opponent. It's not even like this guy has an experience advantage. I mean, if you can't beat John McDessie, then you need to get a job. I don't know. What do you think, Alex? DoorDash, Uber, Instacart, something of that nature.
I mean, I don't even know if you're worthy of that. That's honest work.
Because it's really like they're stacking the deck. You know, I mean, the guy is 10 years older. I would fight John McDessie if they called me tonight and said, "Can you fly to Australia? We need you to get on the plane tomorrow morning." I would literally go and fight John McDessie. Like let's be real.
And you wouldn't need.
I would. And you know what? Any of us in this room, even Dan, he started doing jiu-jitsu recently. Any of us could defend ourselves against him just with pure athleticism, youth, speed, reaction time. Any of us could just defend ourselves, because I'm not saying we could win, but I'm saying we could defend ourselves. It would be worth the flight and the money. And if Jamie Mullarkey, he's already in Australia. He doesn't even need to get on a plane. If he's not going to beat this guy up,
I'd put him in a shotgun armbar. Just learned that little nifty move. Woo! Nasty. Oh my gosh.
The hell's a shotgun armbar?
I've been training jiu-jitsu a long time. I've never heard of that move in my entire life.
It's when you get the guy's like hand.
It's okay.
You put it in the armpit.
Another time. You can teach us another time.
All right.
Oh, so you're holding it like a shotgun. I see what you're saying.
I see.
So.
Dan, there's a thing.
Alex,
white belts are supposed to do instructions, okay? You're not.
White belts do not do instructions.
Don't be teaching us moves now, all right?
Listen. If there was a tournament for white belts, no stripes, tournament with white belts, no stripes, I'm fucking coming out the top dog, bro.
If there's a tournament of white belts with no stripes?
Yes. I'm the top dog in that shit all day, baby.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
How about you win one with other guys with stripes? Because that's what I would do when I had no stripes on my white belt. I would beat guys that had stripes.
I want to organize this tournament.
Okay.
All right.
It's going to be a white belt, no stripe tournament.
And then the super fight. The super fight is 2 white belts with 1 stripe.
Listen, it's a white belt, no stripes summer, baby.
If you enter a tournament as a white belt with no stripes, and your coach, if you do one match in a tournament as a white belt with no stripes, your coach should give you a stripe right there. Yeah. So it'd be interesting because you do well enough in the tournament, you disqualify yourself from the finals.
That
is
the conundrum.
You got to be careful.
Yeah, I don't want to lose my no stripe status.
You gotta win with moves that aren't really moves and stuff. You know what I mean?
Coaches do that shit all the time, Dan. You'd be surprised. They'd be like about to be giving somebody their brown belt, and then they're like, "Oh, well, nationals are coming up, so we're going to let him go in as purple belt, so it makes our school look even better." And then when he wins, we're going to give him his brown belt, even though he should have gotten his brown belt 6 months ago.
Cooking the books.
Yes,
dude, they cook the books all the time, and just like they did with Korean Zombie. They literally gave him his black belt because they're like, "Oh, this is our last opportunity for a UFC photo op, giving a UFC fighter a black belt, amongst the UFC."
Even though he got knocked the fuck out of and didn't do any jiu-jitsu at all. You got out of that head and arm.
For not tapping in that head and arm, you kind of do deserve a black belt. That was in deep. That was in fucking deep. Like, he survived that. You could make a case in that regard, but they already had brought the black belt. They were going to give it to him no matter what. You know what I mean? They already had it. So
wasn't there a fighter recently who knocked somebody out and then got a black belt or a brown belt after the fight?
The coach wants to be seen by the cameras giving it. Same reason that you said Barry Bonds got a blue belt, and I was looking at it. I was like, "Look, I love Barry Bonds and everything, but
I armbar the fuck out of Barry Bonds."
I'm looking at the white belt, and there's no stripes on the white belt. So maybe he just goes to one of those schools that don't do stripes. Okay. The white belt also was pretty clean. Is his wife bleaching it? Because I don't wash my belts. My girlfriend washed my belt one time, and I almost lost it. So I explained to her, it's like, you don't wash the belt. You wash the gi, you don't wash the belt. All right? This is like
because Dan, that's how the heritage happens.
It has mana. It has energy in it. You know what I mean? It has
Dan, do you know that?
Blood and tears in it. You know?
Do you know that that's why black?
Yeah, I know the white belt gets darker.
They were all white at one
point. My white belt was like covered in blood and had all these it was rips in it.
Dan, Luke had a coral belt because it had so much blood on it.
and I'm just saying, my white belt, I needed a new belt by the time I was a blue belt. Barry Bonds, it didn't look like he needed a new belt at all. It looked like his belt it looked like he'd been doing it about 6 to 9 months. That would be my estimation, 6 to 9 months. And the coach said, "Ooh, I got to give him a blue belt before he leaves my school and goes to another school. Once people find out he's doing jiu-jitsu and he gets poached by a better school, so I'll give him his blue belt." And I can always say, "I gave Barry Bonds his blue belt." I get the picture, I put it up. That's what it's like having a restaurant. When you're a jiu-jitsu school owner, And not mine, by the way. Not Marcelo Garcia, not Miles, not Southside. These schools were not like this at all. You know,
neither was Hassett's.
Yeah, neither was Hassan. So let me just say, I see other schools, and that's what they do. You know what I mean? But in my experience, no, not.
Yeah. See, my instructor approached me and said, "Listen, I know you're Danny the Batman. I know you're Lieutenant Dan. You know, most people in this spot would give you the blue belt pretty much upon signing up. I don't want to do that. I want to put you through the rigors of the process." I said, "Hey,
I'm going to send this to your instructor.
We're on the same page here. We're on the same. I know I'm a big time celebrity in the MMA / jiu-jitsu community."
Oh man, I can't wait to send this to your instructor.
I love the end where he's like, I don't.
He's gonna embarrass you. He's gonna embarrass you in for the whole class.
Yeah.
All right.
As my instructor did, because we did start this show when I was still going to class, and he made a podcast joke in front of the whole room and embarrassed the hell out of me.
Yeah, she was like, "Alex,
said, hey, podcast boy, get on the mat."
Exactly.
All right, guys. Well, with that said,
moving on to the third fight of the evening.
Yes, the fourth. Shane Young versus Gabriel Miranda. Shane Young, you guys will remember. I always come at Shane Young pretty hard on this podcast, but I've been talking enough. Why don't one of you start the breakdown? Shane Young versus Gabriel Miranda.
Well, I'm gonna start it with the Haka, as Shane Young likes to do.
Don't do that. I'm saving him from himself. That's cultural appropriation. You don't do that.
All right, I guess I'll
even though Alex kind of looks more New Zealand.
Unless you wanted Alex.
Like, Alex looks more like a you look more. I mean,
I'm an island boy, Luke.
Yeah, exactly. What I'm trying to say. You're wearing what's on your shirt? Pineapples. Looks like pineapples. But
palm trees.
Yeah, exactly.
And flamingos. But
Shane Young looks like he works at fucking Chick-fil-A.
Shane Young fucking sucks, so this is an auto bet for me. I'm going with Miranda, and I hope to God Miranda comes in overweight, so Israel Adesanya is up there, and he's like, "Oh, we need to charge more than 30% of the pass just because somebody misses weight. It should be the win bonus too." Shut the fuck up and take this ass whooping from Sean Strickland and let Shane Young get the shit kicked out of him by a fat boy. I hope he comes in fat as hell. I hope it looks like he doesn't even attempt to cut weight. He's got a belly on him, and he's like, "Oh, I don't know. I've got a handlebar mustache. Let's try to shave that so I can make weight." But he's so fat. He's like 5 pounds overweight. That the mustache, it won't matter.
The mustache indicates to me auto bet on the other side. Gotta go with Shane Young here. The handlebar mustache thing has yet to work in the UFC or the MMA world in general.
Oh,
what?
The guy who fought Demetrius Johnson. Uncle Creepy. Uncle Creepy.
Dude, that guy broke his hand like 10 different times on each hand. Never really worked out for him.
I'm sending this to Ian McCall too. I'm sending it to Ian.
Send it to him. He knows the pain. He can't write his name in cursive anymore. His hand's broken. His hand is done.
I couldn't write my name in cursive.
Yeah, well, that's a different reason altogether. Gabriel Miranda, however, he's going to be a broken man after this. The rules are etched in stone. No handlebar mustaches in a UFC fight. Doesn't matter who you're fighting.
What are you, the flow box? No handlebars?
Shane Young's going to get it done. Simple as that.
Shit.
What?
Nothing. Had this call. It's okay, though.
Big client. He missed. He missed the big whale. Big whale was...
Luke, make your pick and then take yourself out of here. See yourself to the door.
That's okay. We will move on. So, listen. Gabriel Miranda is who I'm going to pick too, and it's an auto bet pick as well. And I just think that Shane Young's bound to lose 4 in a row. I don't think he wants to fight in the UFC anymore, guys. I think he wants to be out. I think he wants to not fight. He wants to lose 4 in a row and be cut, so it's not even his decision anymore. This guy struggles, no offense, but he's open about his mental health issues. So he doesn't have a way to win this fight. So he's going to lose it. Dan's wrong.
All right, next up we've got Blood Diamond versus Charlie Radcliffe. Luke, what do you think about this one? Take us in.
It's Radkit, whatever it is. I mean, Blood Diamond has no attributes. He's old. He's rickety.
He doesn't even have a real name. Is his real name Blood Diamond? Because it says Blood Diamond, quote unquote, Blood Diamond after the Blood Diamond on Tapology.
You know what? I knew his name, but honestly, it's at this point
Blood Diamond, Blood Diamond, Blood Diamond.
We're going with Charles Radkit for me at least. I mean, I'm gonna fade a lot of city kickboxing in this card, guys. You're gonna see the one guy that I decided, I mean, so far it's Kevin Jussiet is the only city kickboxing guy that I'm willing to take right now.
Yeah, I'm rolling with Luke here.
They do usually do well together on these cards, but Shane Young is the exception to that. He does poorly traditionally, and
I disagree. I disagree entirely. I think that City Kickboxing has one big splash win and 8 guys fighting on the card that you've never heard of, and the guys you never heard of lost, and Shane Young also loses, and then Kai Kara France gets knocked out.
Usually it's Izzy, Hooker, Kai Kara, and Olberg. Those are the 4 that win.
No, it's Izzy and Olberg, and then Kai Kara France gets knocked out by Manel Kopp, and guess what, guys? That fight's off the card because Kai Kara France got a concussion before the fight. That's how scary Manel Kopp is. He got a concussion before he even saw him in the octagon. He was supposed to fight Manel Kopp, and Manel Kopp gave him a concussion in his dreams. He was dreaming about Manel Kopp and got a concussion.
That would have been a very easy one for me, I think.
100%. 100%, dude. Kai Kara France sucks. He stinks. He absolutely stinks. Luke, that's the easiest fight for you in the UFC. Him or Chase Hooper?
Kai Kara is fast, dude. He's fast.
Don't blink.
I can't be blinking. Listen. All right. Well, we got to move on. Gabriel Miranda is going to be 2 of the 3 of our picks. Let's see if we can be certified against Blood Diamond. What do you think, Dan?
Oh, man. We got Blood Diamond versus a guy who's got blood tattooed on his chest. Who's more of a blood in this matchup? I think I'm going to go with Blood Diamond here. I think it's a setup job. Charlie Radke.
His tattoo says Blood Brother Pride.
Yeah. So who's more of the blood here?
I don't like it. I don't know why I don't like it, but I don't like it.
Luke, I think we should get that tattooed on our chest.
Dude, that's like the video of those 2 guys that goes, they're like showing their tattoos and they go, I wouldn't want to mess with us.
Yeah.
If you can communicate this product, you can make money off the product.
It was an accident.
It made sense.
It makes sense. Yeah, I wonder if he actually does have a legitimate blood brother. Did he do the slicing of the finger and the thing and the?
No, this is
it's Blood Brother Pride. It just doesn't. It makes me uncomfortable. It kind of sounds like a non-heterosexual adult film, you know what I mean?
and his name is Chuck Buffalo, if you remember
you know what I mean? I don't even know why it sounds like
his nickname is Chuck Buffalo too, and if he's anything like Buffalo Bill, I don't want anything to do with this guy.
Or the Buffalo Soldier, Bob Marley.
Dude, quite honestly, everything about this guy makes me deeply
and that's why I'm taking him.
I'm taking Blood Diamond. You got to take Blood Diamond here. This guy's skeeving me out too much, as Lucas said. It's Blood Diamond. Diamonds are forever, not blood brothers.
The problem when you bang your head is that you just keep thinking like, is this one of those times where it's a ticking time bomb and I'm going to die in my sleep because I hit my head in a weird spot?
You're going to end up you're going to end like the greats, Sam Kinison and Rosie O'Donnell.
or will it exponentially increase my ability to gamble?
I'm taking Blood Diamond!
Guys, I might take my shirt off at some point in this episode. The AC in my apartment is broken.
No.
It's 90 degrees. You should
sweltering. I'm sweltering.
Bro, put a tank.
That's why I changed my shirt. I'm gonna change it again.
Take it off.
No, thermal long sleeve shirt.
Take the top off.
Yeah, I'm running out of t-shirt.
Take the tarp off.
Throw the fucking tank top on. You know.
Oh my gosh! No, take it off. Take it off. You can't come out here.
The light bleeding down. You also need a good cold beverage.
Well, yeah. I mean, I got
the AC is out. I would sue.
What is that? And limoncello?
I would sue them. I would say you're being
whiskey
sued.
sour.
Congratulations,
whiskey
I'm suing you.
See, what I gotta do is kill my cat and then blame it on the loss of heat.
I don't even think you should say. I know you're joking.
This episode, dude. I don't.
I have to cut that. I have to cut that out. I know
what?
it's a joke.
No, don't cut that
I
out.
have to cut it out. I
Can I say
know.
this? Can I say
No.
this? My wife and I literally tried rescuing a cat last night. Okay,
This is damage control. All right.
no, it's not damage
People
control.
don't like jokes about hurting animals. I found that out. Like they don't like it.
No, it's hilarious because Dan's always killing pussy. Don't even don't even sweat it, okay?
You naughty. You teasing me. You naughty.
Okay, we're just
I'm
teasing.
sweating, but I'm not sweating that. We're good. We're good.
See,
All right.
but that is a dangerous environment for a cat, even though they are.
And you do look like a political pundit. How much you're sweating right now? You look like Ted Cruz battling against Donald Trump, and you're just like, "No, my hands are not small. No, I'm not. I don't sweat." You're like Prince Andrew.
I think I look more like Vivek Ramaswamy. All right, crushing it.
Is that
Not a political show. Not a political show. All right.
I don't even know anything
Is
about
that the guy I
politics.
just played that says naughty? Is that him? I don't think that guy.
You don't know who that is?
No.
Oh, you guys are out of the loop. Jeez. Come on.
I don't pay
I'm
attention
a
to
little
politics.
out of the loop. Yeah, all the stuff about
Luke
Trump,
only cares about
I've been really
podcast
paying
politics.
attention.
You are way. Oh man,
The stuff
Luke
about
really
Vivek
cares
is the
about-
ultimate podcast politician. He's the.
No, the stuff about Trump getting arrested. I don't even know anything about it. I literally said to myself, I'm gonna let this one.
It's speeding tickets.
You know, it's like
because
when
of speeding tickets.
a big wave comes, and I just went, I could let this wave hit me and sift through all this info and figure out what my opinion is, or I just go underwater for a couple seconds. The wave crashes. I come up, sunshine, birds, fish. So I'm just doing that. I'm doing that with a lot of things right now, guys. I'm putting the pieces together, and I'm on a bit of a hot streak because we've been talking about this for a while, selling my soul formally to powers that be, Illuminati, Freemasons, Luciferians, the devil, etc. And I think we're close to making that happen. I think that's why so much good fortune is coming my way. I think they're pulling the strings, making certain things happen, guiding me in the right direction. So soon we will be a full-blown Illuminati podcast. Like Bobby Althoff will be getting lifted.
Whoa.
Well, Eric Anders, we're going to get him with Raya and Steak.
We got to get if Eric Anders doesn't get Raya.
We get him on Steak. He gets us with Drake. That's the deal. You missed this part, Dan, but
No, I saw.
okay, yeah. So Eric Anders, we just got to get to Drake. Once we get to Drake, then everring's going to be okay.
The
But
key to
he
Eric
doesn't know
Anders'
we're out there
heart is
doing
through
things.
Raya, though, Luke. He's done with these basic hosts. He said that. He said he's done with these non-famous hosts. He wants famous hosts. We got to get Eric Anders on
He
Raya.
did say that. I mean,
If we do not get Eric Anders on Raya, we do not get Eric Anders on Better, and we don't meet Drake.
I think you should just send. First of all, it's been a week, Alex, and you are the least busy of the three of us. You're not married. You don't have a kid. You need to go. And
You don't have a job.
I have a job.
You need to go and cut that clip, and you need to send it to Raya, tweet it, Instagram it, and email it to them, and say, "Look, we really need to get our guy on Raya." Blah blah blah. And then I think we should also text Joe Selecki and say, "Yo, you're verified on Instagram. Eric Anders isn't verified on Instagram, so maybe just Joe Selecki's manager can talk to the people at Instagram for Eric once he's verified." I'm dead serious. I know you're. I'm not.
If this is the case, then I will need to send all
I
of this.
really think we're an email away. I think Eric is just
Luke.
emailing people.
When I do this, because I can get people's emails. I can get people's cell phone numbers.
Get him on Raya. We get him.
I get Eric Anders on Raya. I get him a blue check mark on Instagram. After that, I get 10% of the next 5 fights he has. His last
That's
5
not.
fights.
No, we do this on the arm. We get him to, like we said.
I'm just kidding. I do not want to be Eric Anders' agent.
We just got to meet Drake. That's it. Then we get
All
the
we
Steak
have to do.
partnership. Then we get. And honestly, I don't even want anything from Drake. I just want to share a couple tips.
Then you box
one
Aiden
gambler
Ross.
to another.
Luke, then you box it. You box Aiden Ross.
I would put Aiden Ross 6 feet under if we boxed. They wouldn't sanction that. They wouldn't allow it. It would have to be an exhibition. They wouldn't even let him in the ring with me. I've saw Aiden. Dude, Aiden Ross, by the way, why is he famous? I've been meaning to ask you this because I was like, okay.
He's a
with him.
streamer.
I was okay with him. I was like, fine. But lately I'm starting to loathe and hate him and want to mobilize against him. And what I'm trying to say is is he famous because he's good at video games? Like, does he have any world titles?
No, he's not. Good at
Okay,
video
now
games.
I really hate him. Okay, because that was gonna be it. I was like, okay, if he's like won some world titles, is like very good at video games, then I can forgive everything else. But
I think he was like decent. I think he was.
His personality is shit. Like,
I think he was decent at a bunch of games and played with like LeBron James's son in 2K, and that's what catapulted him. He got into a crowd that got him in with LeBron James's son, and he was good enough. He was good enough to play with LeBron James's son.
Illuminati industry,
and then LeBron came on the stream and it blew him up.
Cool. So yeah, I can't stand him, man, and I don't like him at all. At least Dr. Disrespect is the 2-time. Like, I can get down with that. I'm a
2-time what? What was he?
If you know, I would even say Sam Hyde I respect more than Aiden Ross because he's entertaining. You know what I mean? He has something to offer. Aiden Ross, the last video I saw Aiden Ross, he shows up to Floyd Mayweather's gym and he's trying to get Floyd on the stream, and Floyd goes, "Y'all are making NBA player money, right? That's what you're always bragging about, right? Cool. Well, drop the check and then I'll be in your stream. Like, I'm a fucking celebrity. You pay me an appearance fee if you want to use me in your content." Very straightforward, very simple. And he's just like taking it all personally in the video and like walking out all annoyed that Floyd like did that and what, bro, just pay him. Like, I pay people. You think I didn't pay fucking the artist formerly known as Athena to be on our show? Like, I fucking paid her. Like, you pay people, even at the lowest level, you pay people. You fucking want Floyd Mayweather on your thing?
Luke pays us to be on this show.
Thank you. And it's like, you know, you didn't need to say that, but I thank you for that. Joe Selecki got 500 from us. Let's be real. Joe Selecki got 500.
Well, that was a foundation.
I don't know what that money went to, and I don't care what he did.
It went to a foundation. That was behind a good cause.
I hope it didn't go to the foundation. I didn't.
And we sent money to the Ukraine.
I wrote it off as ad spend. I didn't write
just
it
like
off.
The government. We sent money to the Ukraine.
I didn't send shit to Ukraine. We sent it to Poland. And don't ever say I sent money to the fucking Ukraine. I sent it to Poland. I would never send any money to the Ukraine. I'm not
Ukrainian refugees.
I'm not. My last name is not. All right, let's move on. We're Joe will be certified. No, we're not. Dan's taking Blood Diamond for reasons that are to be determined, I guess, on the Patreon episode. We're going to move on. Chepe Mariscal versus Jack Jenkins. You know, this is a really tough one for me. Chepe Mariscal obviously trains with Justin Gaethje and fights like him too. Beat the shit out of Trevor Peek, withstood the onslaught that is Trevor Peek. I mean, fighting Trevor Peek is like fighting a wood chipper. It's like fighting a garbage dumpster. You know what I mean? It's like you're gonna hurt in the process. It's a big
trash compactor.
No, I mean a garbage dumpster, like on one of those big green waste management ones on wheels rolling down a hill at you. Sure, it's a garbage dumpster. It's not gonna really but I'm saying like you're gonna get some nicks and some bumps and some bruises fighting it. You know what I mean? And I'm just saying like, yeah, he withstood that and won. Amazing. So high levels of respect for Chepe Mariscal, but additional levels of respect for Jack Jenkins. I'll let you guys fight this one out. I'm gonna go to the bathroom and I'll be right.
Dan, what do you think? You can go first.
I like me some Jack Jenkins. I mean, he's been nothing but impressive as of his last couple of fights here in the big time promotion. Chepe, as Luke said, did very well in his debut. I believe that was his UFC debut against our boy Trevor Peek. I would like to see a little bit more out of Chepe. I feel like he's got some holes in his game that Jenkins can exploit. And I'll leave it at that. I like JJ here, just like JJ Aldrich. Another JJ win coming this next weekend.
I don't know. I wasn't all that impressed with Jack Jenkins so far. He's beaten shameless Don Sheamus, who our boy Sadiq Youssef submitted in the first round. His first submission ever. And who captured that on the Discord? Who told everybody? I think first round submission, Sadiq Youssef. I think he clubs and subs him easy. He did it. I thought he lost against Jamal Emmers. I'll be honest about that. I think Jamal Emmers beat him up just 3 months ago. Not even. He got the shit kicked out of him by Jamal Emmers, got saved in the decision. I I think Chepe is going to be there to hang around. I think this definitely goes over 2.5. I think that this goes the distance. If you're getting swung on by Trevor Peak that much, I think that you're going to be able to withstand the pressure of Jack Jenkins. But I think Jack Jenkins still wins this fight. I hope this isn't a huge favorite pick, but I feel like it will be. I feel like it'll probably be minus 280 at the very least. I hope we get Jack Jenkins at a better price tag, but I really don't see it happening.
All right.
Chepe's too good to be that big of a dog. You know what I mean? Like, Chepe is probably going to be a plus 200, and it's going to be very enticing to take it, but I think he's going to lose the fight.
I'm with you 100%. I think I like it for all the same reasons. I think Chepe's path to victory is too strenuous. Time change, flight, all that. Even with elevation level training, it's going to be very difficult for him to like drag Jack Jenkins to the ground 3 times, withstand the damage Jack's going to put up in those transitions. I think it ends up being grueling, and I think Jack finishes him. I know he said it's going to go to decision. I don't think that's the case. I think Chepe's going to try to drag him to the ground, try to strike with him, try to volume him, and they're both going to be exhausted, and someone's going to get TKO'd. So I'll take Jack Jenkins, but I'm not really interested in betting this one. It's going to be such a fun one to watch. I would rather just not care who wins, and just go in it with that kind of level. All right, cool. So, excuse me. This next one's easy for me. Carlos Ulberg versus Da Un Jun. Da Un Jun has failed a lot of tests that would have been easier, in my opinion, than Ulberg. So I'm taking Ulberg. Black Jag is such a Chad, so beautiful. Giga Chad. Yeah, he's got that loss to Kennedy and Shukwi, but that was a fight he looked good and had moments in. It was 2 years, 4 months ago, undefeated since then with many, many finishes. The Charant fight was unimpressive, but he's looked good with knockouts in every fight since then. Meanwhile, not only losing to Brown Bear Devin Clark, but getting knocked out by Dustin Jacoby. That's what we have. Split decision, split draw with Sam Alvey. Da Un Jun has shown us his ceiling. It is not high. Even though he did knock out the guy who knocked out Ulberg, MMA math does not work. We all know this. So I am going with Black Jag. This is a recalibration fight. This is a get-right fight, even though he's been getting right. But it's the opportunity to beat the guy who beat the guy who beat him. Give me Carlos Ulberg all fucking day.
Yep, got to agree on this one. Ulberg has been coming into his own. Yeah, he just seems to be super comfortable in there at this point. I'm seeing a title shot in the near future. I mean, can you imagine him up against Jamal Hill, against Yuri? Like, these are some really awesome fights that are going to be coming his way. Just has to get through Da Un Jung, which I think is more than within his capabilities, and I expect him to do so. Man, why is this a prelim? That's stupid. They should be
it's 2 weeks away, so you got to think it's going to shake out probably differently,
Yeah, that should definitely replace the Justin Tafa Austin Lane fight, but we'll get to that later. What are you thinking, Alex?
Black Jag versus
yeah, first instinct is to go with the Black Jag here. I think that he's just super athletic. He's learned the lessons that he has had to learn so far. And if Devin Clark is out manning you, pushing you against the cage, making you feel away, I don't think that you're going to have success against a guy like Carlos Ulberg. What does Carlos Ulberg do against Sam Alvey? Sam Alvey drawled or drew Da Un Jung. And not like one of his French girls. I'm going to go with Carlos Ulberg. I hope that this is Triple P certified, boys. Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
100%. Yeah. Okay, cool. So next up, we are moving ever so closer to the main event, but we have our first main card fight as of right now. Manel Cape. This was supposed to be against Kai Kara, so that's why this was on the card. They probably are going to slot this out. But Manel Kape versus Felipe Dos Santos. Man, 22 years old, only 7 fights, and they're throwing you in there against a guy with 24 fights. I'm taking Manel Kape. This guy's a sacrificial lamb. He's going to take a lump to get into the UFC. That's the meal ticket price, but Manel Kape's going to fucking destroy this kid.
Shoot Box has been doing very well, and if you guys saw, the girl who just fought Holly Holm just got popped for steroids. So this guy definitely doesn't have to be in USADA for 7 months or 6 months or however it may be. He's got the emergency Brock Lesnar pass just like Conor McGregor does in December. He might come out there and give us more than we expect, but I feel like it's going to be like that one guy who danced his way out there, did really good for 1 or 2 minutes, and then gets finished in the 3rd minute. Manel Kape. I'm taking Manel Kape. It's going to be a huge favorite because this guy's coming in on such short notice. But Dan, what do you think?
Manel Kape, formerly on my UFC fantasy team, which I think I won that. If we go back and actually,
it was defunct. If
we add up the stats, I think I probably won that. Manel Kape on that team for a reason. I think very highly of him. Some of the best knockout power to come from a flyweight, and I think that's going to be on display this night as well. So give me Starboy.
Next fight, we got Tyson Pedro, and he's taking on Pleasure Man Anton Turkalgi. Listen, if you look at Tyson Pedro, first 2 UFC wins, very respectful. Khalil Roundtree when Khalil was only 4-1, and Paul Craig when Paul Craig was undefeated. He gave Paul Craig his first ever loss. That was back in 2016, 2017. But ever since then, loses to Yair Latifi, loses to a Vincent Peru, loses to Mauricio Shogun Rua, and 2 of those 3 are by finish. Doesn't really matter who. It's Ike Villanueva and Harry Hunsucker that he's able to finish. These guys are low level UFC fighters. 18-13, Ike Villanueva, 7-5, Harry Hunsucker. And with his most recent loss against Modestas Bukauskas, my man here is 9-4 going into his next fight. So his record's starting to look more like the Hunsuckers, more like the Ike Villanuevas, more like these guys that he's got wins over who aren't really that good. So my thinking is I don't have any respect for Tyson Pedro at this point with the losses he has. The names don't look good. And with his knee surgery, you really don't know if he's back 100%. I mean, the 2 fights he's won post-knee surgery are all first-round finishes. So it's like, okay, there's not really anything being proven here. It's an exhibition. It's everything goes well. You know what I mean? It's not a grueling fight where things are tested. And when that does happen and the decision lost to Bukauskas, you see what happens. So I think that was a short notice fight for Bukauskas too, wasn't it? I mean, I think he took that fight. Tyson Pedro was supposed to fight Ming Yang Zhang, and Ming Yang Zhang, that's serious. And he withdrew. And, they brought in Bukauskas, who wasn't even in the UFC. He had been cut from the UFC. They bring him in, saying, "Oh, we got you, Tyson. Drink West." He's with Tai Tuivasa. They have a hard seltzer company together, or whatever. And when you got money coming in from other areas, you're gonna be getting lazy. He's gotten lazy. He's gotten fat. His knees are bad. He stinks. He's not a good fighter at this point. He can't win against good competition. But Anton Turkalgi is not good competition. He's never won in the UFC. He's got 2 back-to-back losses. They put him in there against guys they want him to lose against, and this is no different of a scenario. They want him to lose here. They want the crowd on their feet rooting for the hometown guy. The Pleasure Man is not in there to win. He's in there to lose. The UFC knows something we don't. They know Tyson Pedro can beat him, but they probably thought of Vincent Peru, and they probably thought Shogun Rua, and they probably thought Bukauskas could be beaten by Tyson Pedro too. They try to do this guy favors, and Tyson Pedro spits in their face, bites the hand that feeds, and ultimately loses fights that he should be winning. This could be that exact fucking scenario, guys, but...
Luke, you said it doesn't matter Rua.
What?
You said it doesn't matter Rua, but Shogun beat him and St. Prua beat him as well. So
he finished him. It doesn't matter who finished him, because even if it was Latifi and Rua or Latifi and OSP, it's like, my point is all 3 are, he shouldn't be losing, getting finished, none of it, no way, no how. But I'm going to pick Pedro here, but he doesn't deserve my pick. He shouldn't have my pick, and I'm hoping one of my colleagues is smart enough not to pick him.
yeah, and I'm not going to pick him. I'm going to take the Pleasure Man. He fought Jalton Almeida on very, very short notice. Made himself look decent in the first few minutes. Ended up losing that one. Same thing with Vitor Petrino. If you know anything about V-Tours, they're T-Tours, TRT Tours. They're coming in juiced up to the gills, and they're coming to kill. I'm going to go with the Pleasure Man. I'm not going to have much on this one. Tyson Pedro has the athletic advantage, but that's never really done anything for him in the past. And it just goes to show that American college football has more athleticism than rugby because Oven St. Preux beat his ass. Mauricio Shogun-Hua beat his ass. So football players beat his ass. I don't know. I would love to go with Tyson Pedro because he's handsome. He's got the look. He's got the fit. He's fit as hell. He's strong. But I just, something about the pleasure, man, brings me pleasure. Dan, what do you think?
We've heard of the French connection. I think we're going to be hearing about the Swedish connection after this one. I hear Latifi going to be chirping in the pleasure man's ear, saying, hey, a couple Swedish guys here. Let me tell you how to beat this guy. It's actually not all that hard. I think Anton is going to get the job done here. I'm not going to blame him for his loss to, what's his face?
Jonathan
Almeida. And even, Bobby Petrino, one hell of a fighter in his own right. So 27 years old, I think he's going to get the rub off of those two really good UFC fighters. And, man, it's a big jump down in competition for him for here. So I think he's going to benefit from that.
Okay. I'm the only one dumb enough to pick Tyson Pedro.
Yeah, you're going to be super disappointed.
It's okay. I'm only going to put it in one bet. Next, we got Justin Tafa taking on Austin Lane. This fight already happened. Austin Lane got him with an eye poke, and the fight ended quickly. Austin Lane was a big-time underdog going into that fight, and I selected him. When I saw the fight begin, I was sure Austin Lane was set to win, and it ended with a no contest. Quite disappointing. Took some money out of my bank account, but I'm going to go with Austin Lane again. I just think now he's at a big disadvantage, right? It's kind of like he's got the momentum. It's not on his side anymore. He's been halted already once. Now he's going in. He's going to be extra kind of like, man, sorry about last time. That's just enough to cause you to lose a fight. So I don't like that. The flight to Australia, I also don't like that. So really big time disadvantage. I think he was set to win that night, but now this night, the future is unwritten. But I'm still going to stick with my original pick, hoping he's going to be, good odds, Austin Lane.
Yeah, and I mean, Austin Lane, former Jacksonville Jaguar, fighting in Jacksonville last time and came out like
exactly couldn't have been better,
like a bat out of hell. And now he is fighting the badman, Justin Tafa, in his homeland, Australia, mate, the land down under, the south of the border. I don't know. I think I'm going to go with Austin Lane here. And I was originally on Tafa, and I won money this night. Luke and I both won money, and I was so thankful that this fight went to no contest because after the first 10 seconds, I was like, oh, shit, Austin Lane's going to knock this guy out. This isn't even going over 1.5. So my hedge bet isn't gonna pay off either.
Check it out. I have my bet right here, actually. You'll see it was like Tabitha Ricci over Jillian Robertson, Mateus Rebecki over Loic Radzovic, Randy Brown versus Wellington Turman, Brandon Allen, David Onama, Macy Barber as a plus 168 dog, David Onama as a plus 188 dog, and Ilya Taporia minus 335 against Josh Emmett. $36.90 won me $2,485 on FanDuel. Right there. Posted in the Patreon, everybody. I mean, this is the shit that we should be bragging about a little bit more. But if Austin Lane as like a plus 200 underdog would have won, I'm pretty sure that was going to be like $5,000.
Yeah, and I think that this line moves a lot more in his direction this time because if you were anything like me and you had 7 fights correct and this was one in between those 7 correct picks, my 8-fight parlay, I think I won like $600, $700. Then you are clenching your butthole during this whole entire fight. And then the second you see them size up against one another and you see Austin Lane come out there and start dapping Justin Tafa up, you are scared. You're scared for the life of you. I'm going with Austin Lane here. I think Austin Lane wins. I took Justin Tafa in the last one, but the bad man is just bad man. He's going to get his ass knocked out. Austin Lane. Dan, what do you think?
I think Austin Lane is so bad. So bad. He's just another one of these fun NFL projects that never work out. Getting knocked out by Greg Hardy. We see how bad he is. He can't to win a fight to save his life. I think the gods were smiling upon you that night, Lukey, getting you away with a couple grand there. One of the biggest wins in Triple P certified history. However, man, if that fight went through, you'd be looking at a goose egg, my friend.
Dan, you're crazy. You had to have not watched that fight because the second Austin Lanes put a single hand on Tafa, he looked like he was wilting immediately. And on top of that, yes, he lost to Greg Hardy early in his career when he faced somebody with the same athletic attributes he has. Right now, he's not fighting an athletic man. He's fighting a fat man. He's fighting a fat Samoan, a fat Tongan, whatever the hell he is. He's getting his ass knocked out. Dan, rebuttal.
You done? You done
Yes,
over there?
sir.
You're gonna kick him in that big ass body of his.
Yes.
Dude, Austin Lane stinks. He wasn't good in the NFL. He's not a good fighter either. He's just going to be a two-time loser as far as his careers. So let's hope ice hockey works out for him because he's not going to be fighting very long. How about that?
All right, Alexander Volkov.
Ooh, I'm sorry. It's hot in here. It's hot in here, guys. I'm sorry.
Dan is there. We're boy. Every episode, I want Dan. Honestly, no, I don't because we can't have me, you, and Alex. Like, me and Alex have a natural heat. You usually cool us down, but these days I'm like, today I'm like, geez.
Dan came in hot. He's
quite literally hot.
Very hot.
Ty Bam Bam Tuivasa fighting right after his buddy Tyson Pedro, and I'm sure he's friends with Justin Tafa too. All these guys are friends, but here's the thing: he's taking on Drago, Alexander Volkov, 34 years old, not over the hill yet, especially not for heavyweight. KO'd Alexander Romanov. Did I miss that fight? Alexander Romanov is like my boy. Did I miss that one? Like I forget. I know he lost the Volkov, but like, well, I don't. You know what? I have that concussion from earlier. That's probably why I don't remember it.
Punches from back control, Luke.
Yeah. Okay, that's right. Okay, Alexander Volkov, he's a fucking beast, dude. Like this guy has my respect. He finishes Rosenstrike. He finishes Romanov. Sure, he gets arm locked by Tom Aspinall. Kind of a bitch move. Whatever. Then
loses to Cyril Gahn. Bitch move. Loses to
one literally with 11 seconds left gets knocked out by Derek Lewis. Like
working too hard will give you Curtis Blades.
So I'm taking Volkov. I like Ty, but the fans can only get you so far, and he's going to get knocked out again. He's fat and slow and not very good and already rich and already loved, and he doesn't need to win this fight.
Shoey bet?
This shoey bets are so lame. Can someone come up with something like original?
I'll do a shoey bet.
Well, maybe if you had an ounce of ambition in your bones and got Caitlin Chukagian to spill the milk on your head, we'd have more fun things going on. But instead, the only people who hold their end of the bargain are the people who have to drink shoeys.
Listen.
You live an hour away from Caitlin Chukagian? You can't just go to her gym and say, "Hey, can you pour a gallon of milk on my head?"
Listen, you should be grateful that we are reserving our first female fighter to be someone as great as Erin Blanchfield, and we didn't blow it on freaking Caitlin Chukagian. That would be a blemish on our record.
We don't want the bucket of.
It might be the concussion, but I don't even remember. Like Dan. What he said,
we don't want any buckets of milk on the show.
Right. He said someone was gonna.
He said if Caitlin Chukagian wins, I'll let her pour a gallon of milk on my head.
He said that Caitlin was gonna get bullied and get her pigtails pulled and get her milk carton dumped on her head, and then she won. And we said, so does she get to dump a milk carton on your head now? I think.
Yeah, I mean, I guess she didn't accept the offer to the show. I don't know.
The show had like 10 subscribers back then.
Okay, and she has like 10 followers on Instagram, so I guess it evened out, and she still didn't come on the show.
All right, finish up and be more interesting. I'm literally cutting my fucking fingernails because you guys.
Ew.
You guys are boring. I'm eating Taco Bell. I cut my fingernails. I'm trying to get drunk. I'm doing everything I can to fucking make this a little bit, an hour and 48 minutes, bearable.
All right, I'm going with the big Russian guy. Tai Tuivasa stinks. Like you said, he's fat, and Volkov is just a veteran who'll get the job done. How about that? Was that interesting?
If Ty's not going to submit him, and Volkov is got just as many knockouts as Ty does, and he's a better striker, and he's taller, and he's longer, and he's better, and he's faster, and he's better, and he's going to win. Alex, you're taking Ty. Do I want to shoey bet? Yes. Do you want to tell us why you're taking Ty? What, he's just going to touch his fist to Volkov's chin, and Volkov's going to go to sleep in that octagon?
I think Volkov will win, but I think just for a little parody here, I'll take a shoey bet, and I'll take Ty Tuivasa.
Don't say that. Pick who you think's going to win, because if the fucking co-main event is going on, you're going to be really confused as to what you should bet when all your other parlays fall to shit. You're going to be really confused as to like who you should take in this.
I don't think I'll be very confused. I think I'll go with Alexander Volkov, and I'll be like, okay, cool. I'll drink a beer out of my shoe.
Separated from second place by one pick, and you don't want to pick the fighter you think's going to win.
Dan and I have gone against each other on most picks. He went with Tyson Pedro. I went with Anton Pleasureman.
No, I didn't. I did not go with Tyson Pedro.
He went with Blood Diamond. I went with Charlie Radcliffe.
All right, so you're going with Ty.
I'm gonna go with Ty just for the parody of it, but Dan,
it's parody.
I don't think he got what he was saying.
It's parody, not parody. It's not a joke. It's a pairing.
No, parity. Yeah, like a rainbow colored bird, right?
Okay, look.
Kind of like a toucan.
Main event of the evening.
Parity. The state or condition of being equal, especially regarding status or pay. Parity of incomes between rural workers and those in industrial occupations.
How is it spelled?
Parity. Parity. But no, that's not the same thing. Sorry.
That's not what I was fucking talking
parity.
about, dumbass.
This parrot.
I was talking about repeating like a parrot.
No, that's not what you're talking about.
Kind of like a toucan. Parody. Parody.
Equality, sameness, parallelism, correspondence. Is Chael Sonnen using the term parody wrong in terms of matchmaking? And are we all using it wrong as a result of him using it wrong? That's what I think's happening here.
I've never lost.
Right.
No, it's not. As you can see, Chael just responded to you. He's never done anything wrong.
So 2 on Volkov, 1 on Tuivasa, but Alex thinks Tuivasa is going to lose. He just wants to shoey bet me, and I guess lose the shoey bet.
Well, Dan also has to do a shoey too, so it's like a.
You like doing shoeys though, so why don't you just do a shoey if Ty wins? And if Ty loses,
well, that's Luke. That's the kicker. I will do a shoey if Ty wins.
Yeah, so I'm not
and no, but if Ty wins, all 3 of us have to do a shoey. That's what I want. Solidarity.
Dan's not going to do it. He doesn't do shoeys.
Dan will do it. He just made the bet. We kissed on it.
You should stop doing shoeys because you have a very weak immune system, and they say that shoeys are bad for your stomach. Because
we have to change the time of this podcast because you can't eat dinner at 8 o'clock or something. By the way, we're going to run into that anyway. And you're telling me that
in 5 seconds. We're almost done, and then we're gonna just launch right through the We'll finish this by 7:30. You'll have dinner by 7:30.
It just doesn't make any sense. All right, go ahead.
Actually, no, there's no way we're gonna actually finish about 8.
I just don't want to rush through dinner the hour after I get done work, and then have to run back and be like, run back here to get to the podcast. I want to eat dinner and enjoy it, Daniel.
All right.
Sean Strickland taking on Israel Adesanya, and Israel really wanted to fight on this card. He really wanted to fight on this card so he could put the squeeze on his opponent, Dricus Du Plessis. The same thing Sugar Sean was trying to do to Aljamain Sterling. He was insistent upon the Boston card because the UFC was insistent upon the Boston card, and he used that to his advantage to get Aljo to make a quick turnaround. He thought Aljo was going to be in Long Island on the beach drinking Bahama Mamas and eating shrimp and lots of taquitos. But no, in fact, Aljo kept the weight off, was disciplined, came into it with a better weight cut than ever, but still found himself the victim of rushing and trying to close the distance a little too quick against the longer, better striker, counter striker, got knocked out. Point is, Sean Strickland could look like Aljo, or he could look like Sugar Sean, or he could look like Max Holloway. My point is, Sugar Sean...
Or he could look like Miranda Cosgrove in iCarly.
Yeah. So Sugar Sean Strickland, I want him to win so bad. I think it would be so funny. I think it would be such funny comeuppance for Israel to lose to the guy that he didn't even really want to fight and thinks he's just he thinks he's doing to Sean Strickland what Luke Rockhold thought he was doing to Michael Bisping. Think about that.
Hold on. Can you break it down?
He thinks Michael Bisping was brought in as one of two possible replacement opponents for Luke Rockhold when Luke Rockhold was originally set to take on who? I forget. Was it Kelvin Gastelum or was it Yoel Romero or was it was somebody? He was going to fight somebody to defend
probably Yoel Romero.
Yoel Romero, and they brought in
Bobby Knuckles
Bobby Knuckles. It was maybe Whitaker, and they brought in Bisping. And during the press conference, he said, "You took me because you thought it would be the easy fight." And then Rockhold said, "I took you because," and he said, "Well, why didn't you pick Jacare then?" Because basically Bisping was saying Jacare is a more scary fight than me, so why didn't you fight him? He's higher ranked than me. And Lou Rockhold said, "Because he's a crocodile and he's an alligator, and alligators have small little arms and they don't bring a lot of money with them." That's what he said. Right? That's his name, Jacare. And he said, "You bring a lot of bags of money with you because of your mouth, because you run your mouth." So he picked Bisping for that. That's why Izzy's picking Sean.
The only person I know to run their mouth and get money for it was your ex-wife.
So I just want to say that before I go to the bathroom real quick. I want to lay that foundation that Izzy is not really taking Sean seriously and thinks that he's just a loudmouth who's going to bring in a lot of pay-per-view.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more. One thing I do take umbrage with Sean Strickland is he said nobody who jerks off to anime porn could beat his ass. And I think that anybody who hasn't jerked off to anime porn is a liar because you've seen the ads while you're waiting for your real life woman to show up. You've seen Lois just getting plowed by Brian or Quagmire. One of those Quahog boys, you know. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Sean Strickland.
Oh, jeez.
I think Sean Strickland is gonna win. And what, Dan?
Nothing. Go ahead. Finish.
No. You go ahead first.
All right, fine.
Since you're taking umbrage with this nail painting little.
I think Adesanya will definitely win. I love Sean Strickland. I hope he wins, but his little drummer boy stand up straight boxing thing is not going to do the trick. Sorry.
Boy.
He is the little drummer boy. Like his intro music and the way he fights, he's the little drummer boy. And I love him for it, but it's just not the style that's going to work out here. He will not wrestle. He will just, try to box, and he will pay for it. And it's going to suck. And I'm going to be very drunk at that point in time, and I'm going to cry. But I'm not going to be that sad because I'm going to win money. So it's fine.
So, yeah, I'm going with Sean Strickland too. I think that in the course of 5 rounds, his volume, his pace, and his pressure are going to be the big factors because in fights like Jared Cannonier, Yoel Romero, Marvin Vettori, second Robert Whitaker fight, Izzy was like
guys who were scared. Guys who were scared,
didn't press the action, and when they did,
all Sean wants to do is die
and press the action, and he's not going to bitch out. I think this is going to look like Sean Strickland versus Uriah Hall. Go back and watch that fight, everybody. He hugged him, humped him, and pushed him against the cage and was able to dominate and put on a masterclass. Sean is competitive. He wants to win. This is amazing. If he wins, it'll be so amazing. I cannot wait. I mean, it's just great.
We almost have the 3 white horsemen of the apocalypse: Sean O'Malley, Sean Strickland, and Colby Covington as the UFC champion. And guys, I hate to say it, but the 4th horseman of the apocalypse is John Jones, and he's also going to be the champion after this. We are going to have
already is.
Exactly. We are going to have the greatest years of our lives. Guys, we are upcoming on some of the best days of the UFC we'll ever see. We're in the attitude era, boys. We're in the attitude era of the UFC.
This is making me change my pick. This is making me want to change my pick.
The UFC started off and they thought that was the attitude era when they just had barroom brawlers coming in. But now we got the actual attitude era. It all sparked off by Conor McGregor, one who could be compared to Ric Flair. Conor McGregor is the Ric Flair of the UFC. Then that spawns Hulk Hogan. Then that spawns Stone Cold Steve Austin. Then that spawns The Rock. And then that spawns Sting, who is obviously Sugar Sean O'Malley because he likes to paint himself and be all.
No, I was thinking Sugar Sean is both the Hardy Bros.
Ooh.
Yes. Sugar Sean's the Hardy Bros. Sean Strickland is Stone Cold. Sean Strickland, Stone Cold Steve Austin. And then we got John Jones is Dwayne The Rock Johnson, of course. Who else? And Colby Covington. Who is Colby Covington? Hulk Hogan. Because he's not afraid to let it fly. If you know what I mean.
Yeah. We should just start...
Or no, he's the other wrestler who used to be a Navy SEAL.
Dude, we should just start watching 90s Attitude Era WWE from the episodes as if it was new and just do a podcast about it, but as if it was new. Because there are kids coming up who haven't seen it. So we could just commentate on it as if it's new and be like, all right, so last night Stone Cold took on Kane and The Undertaker in a triple threat match, or
I'm down, but we also have to do the same thing with the NFL and have Barry Sanders. And because it will be the first time we're watching it too.
That's a great idea.
Where the wrestling we've already watched.
There's always going to be it's well, yeah, of course. There's always going to be new people discovering Led Zeppelin for the first time. It's not like it's going.
Oh my gosh, how many fucking lame videos is it where it's like, I showed my hood uncle Led Zeppelin for the first time, and he's like, "Wow, Stairway to Heaven's crazy." And little does he know, Led Zeppelin stole every fucking song they made.
Well, guys, Dan, the guy who hates Israel Adesanya, is taking him.
I'm changing my pick. I'm changing it up. Triple P certified. Sean Strickland. Triple P double S.
Fuck yeah.
Not SS, double S.
I was about to say, he's admitted. Anyway, let's move on.
Formerly.
Let's move on. Let's just
Luke, you can communicate this product.
Nothing out of you.
Before we get in our final thoughts, I just have a quick question. There isn't another UFC fight for the next few weeks, right? First few weeks of the NFL. What are we gonna do here?
I sent you a text. Guys, just to shoot.
I'm trying to fucking tell the people, you dumbass. How about you fucking let them know?
Yo, don't yell like that. People who have their headphones in now are gonna be mad at you because you just yelled so much. You can.
Yeah, way to go, Alex. Control yourself.
Good. Watch the next one with subtitles.
You idiot.
You need No. But I just want to say, I sent out.
I just gave you such a good.
I want to hear Luke.
On Saturday, right? Alex is saying there isn't a bunch of UFCs for the next weeks. I said on Saturday, I go 09:30, 10:07, 10:14, no UFC. So the exact 3 Saturdays where there's no UFC, I sent it to Alex. Then I said 09:23, September 23rd, last UFC until 10:21. So in a month, yes, there will be the last UFC until a month from then. And then I said Sunday the 10th, first NFL Sunday. So at this point, I've given Alex information that the NFL season starts on the 10th, and there's not a UFC on the 30th. That's 20 days apart, bro, between the start of the NFL season. So you're a little premature, is all I was trying to say. You're a little premature in terms of giving these people notice about,
the NFL.
Alex has always been a preemie. Alex has always been a preemie.
I am a preemie, and that's not funny.
Right, let's give them the real announcement.
I'm trying to I set you up, you fucking dumbass.
I'm sorry.
I set you up to be like, okay, I know there's not a lot of UFC fights coming up, but we're gonna come on here,
guys. If you made it this long, get into the Patreon.
I know we did a dumbass fucking thing of breaking down a fight a week ahead of time, but now that a week ahead of time, next week we're not gonna have any fights to break down.
Not next week.
Next week, we're not going to have a fight to break down.
On September... No, next week we are going to have a fight to break down. What are you talking about?
Which one?
There's 3 more weeks of fights that we're breaking down.
Oh, my gosh.
So you can look it up which one yourself. I told you it's not until the 30th of September that there's the break for 3 weeks. The 30th.
He was clearly sleeping at this point when you sent the text.
So September 30th, October 7th, and October 14th, there are no UFC fights. It's a 3-week stretch with no UFCs. So we will be breaking down the last UFC card, which takes place on September 23rd, a week prior, obviously, around September 11th. September.
I'm sorry, I was wrong. I'm sorry.
No,
I thought next week was the last.
Oh, good, but it's good to let the people know. Sunday the 10th is the first NFL Sunday. The first game is Chiefs versus the Lions, and that's going to be Thursday before September 10th, which is a Sunday. Let's run through our full picks for this card. I'm going to give everybody mine first because I have them written down right here. I'm going with Sean Strickland in the main event. I'm going with Alexander Volkov in the co-main. I'm going with Austin Lane, Tyson Pedro, Manel Kopp, Carlos Ulberg, Jack Jenkins, Charles Radke, Gabriel Miranda, Jamie Malarkey, Nazareth Hopcross, and Kevin Jussiet. Top to bottom. Those are my picks for Israel Adesanya versus Sean Strickland, UFC 293, live from Australia, and it's in Sydney on the 9th of September, 6 p.m. start time for the prelims. Let's get it. List your picks, boys.
Let's go with Sean Strickland, Tai Tuivasa, Justin Tafa, Anton
Wait, you said you were
Turkaz.
taking Volkov.
Well, I also told you that I'm switching. Oh, wait. Sorry.
Sean Strickland.
Sean Strickland. Yeah, sorry. I am taking Volkov. Sorry for that.
Oh, good. I just was confused. I'm like, you switched your co-main and main event pick.
No. I just switched my mind to, I see a name, I read it. That's what I'm doing now. But I'm not. I'm giving my picks here. After Anton Turkaz, we got Manel Kopp, Carlos Ulberg.
You're taking Justin Tafa, and then you're taking Turkaz, and then you're taking Kopp. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Correct. After that, we got Ulberg, Jack Jenkins, Blood Diamond, Shane Young, Jamie Malarkey, Nazrat Hapkarast, and Kevin Juicy J.
All right, my turn. I got all the boys on to Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland to top the card. Tai Tuivasa, Austin Lane, Anton Mr. Pleasure Turkaz, Manel Kopp, Carlos Ulberg, Jack Jenkins by decision. Take that one to the bank. Charlie Radcliffe, Gabriel Miranda, Jamie Malarkey, Nasrat Hapcrast. That's one of my is one of my biggest picks on this card. And then Kevin Jussiet, one of my least favorite picks on the card.
So that leaves us with 6 trophy certified picks. We got Kevin Jussiet, Nazareth Hopcross, Jamie Malarkey, Jack Jenkins, Carlos Ulberg, and Manel Kopp.
Luke, the Q comes first in Hapcrast. I got it mixed up. I'm dyslexic.
Hapcrast. Oh, Nazareth Hapcrast.
Hapcrast, yes.
Wonderful. Thank you all for joining the show. Join the Patreon if you want to hear us break down Cyril Gane versus Sergey Spivak, UFC Paris, full card yet again. Dan will give his full breakdown top to bottom for those 12 fights. And also, joining the Patreon, the number one thing and the only thing that we're promising is that you get to support the show. You will get an extra episode every week. We'll break down everything with a fine-tooth comb. Records have been better than ever since we've been doing 2 breakdowns of every single card, one on the Patreon, one on the main channel. So come get the second look. We'll also talk about all the stuff we don't want to mention on the show, deep personal stuff, Alex's address, things of that nature. So
no, Dan will say that on the regular show. I mean, I don't know what the fuck we're talking about. Everybody already knows where I live.
Well, we love you guys. Join the Patreon, support the show. Thank you so much. Join the Discord, like and subscribe. Give us a comment. Let us know what you think. DM me. All the great stuff. Say goodbye, boys.
Goodbye.
Later. See you at the Patreon.